Mabusai! Hello! Good morning! Well, it's actually morning still. So I can say that. Rare Poseidon morning stream? Rare Poseidon morning stream? Oh, hello everybody! I got the cat ears to work today. I got the cat ears to work today. Yeah, we're doing an early stream today because I have a collab later and I want to pump out some reacts before the collab, because after today you guys probably won't see me till Monday. I have a pretty busy weekend ahead of me, so I'm just trying to keep the second channel alive. But good morning everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful what is it? Today's Thursday. Who you're collabing with? I'll be collabing with Miss Lala on her channel later. We're gonna be yapping about card games because I literally don't have anything else I can yap about. That's not true, but evening from the UK. Hello, the European shipwrecks. I think this is also some of the Filipino shipwrecks are awake at this time. I have no idea. But by the way, I don't know if any of my subathon winners are in here, top donators are in here, but I did award the VIPs to those people. So those are awarded now, and then we're gonna start processing the rest of everything. I slept the whole day. Dude, that's so real. That's so real. I woke up this morning. I actually slept in this morning because the last few days I've been waking up early to study, which has been a lot of fun. I say with a bunch of sarcasm. But I slept in this morning because yesterday I took my final exam. But I'm not done with school yet. I have one more project I need to turn in for my design class, and that's a work in progress. I think I did work on it like for a few hours last night, and I was like, I want to die. I don't want to do this. How did you do? I have no idea. But if it makes you feel better, no matter how I performed on the exam, I would have passed the class anyway. So if I literally did not walk in and show up, I would have passed. So I had a good grade in that class, but I studied for the last few days. And then one of my exams, I got a 98, and I was just like, 98? What? Could have been 100, but I guess that's fine. That's okay. It's okay. I just need to finish up this last project. It's been a project I've been working on for like 5 weeks now, and I'm so over it. I'm like I literally emailed my professor yesterday, and I was like, honestly, professor, I feel like I kind of done more than what you asked, and it may not look finished right now, but you told us to do this, this, and this, and I did literally all of it. Can I just turn it in? And he was just like, well, yes, but can you please do this first? And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. You're trying so hard, I'm kind of dying. What do you mean? I know. I mean, here's the thing with me. I'm an overachiever. So I'm that type of student where every single extra credit opportunity that's offered to me, it literally does not matter if I have 100 in the class or not. I'm still gonna do it. I did that last semester for my macroeconomics class, and I ended up ending the class with a 101.2%. So that was great. I did every single extra credit because I was just like, I can't. I have to do everything. Yeah, that class, I fucking hated that class. Holy fuck. I don't ever want to take a class like that again. Which I probably will, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We love our overachiever. I am. Speaking of not overachieving, I'm really excited. Next week I have an announcement. Not a bad announcement, I swear. Not a bad announcement, I swear, but fun things are coming in the 3rd week of this month. So that'll be fun. Yay. I got 100. I hated that class. No, for real. It's always the classes I hate the most that I try the hardest in. Got a job interview soon? Good luck! Job interviews in this job market, you should be proud of yourself for even getting one. It's so hard. if not me for bombing a quiz due to a power outage, that sounds like not your problem. That sounds like, I don't know if you use Canvas. Did anybody, I don't know if there's any student shipwrecks in the chat. Did you guys see Canvas went down last week? And I was praying. I was literally like, please, 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 stay shut down. And then it got rebooted the next day. And I was like, no, 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 no. Oh, the timer expired? No, that always sucks. You're almost employed. That's a bad word. That is a bad word. The secret is to apply for jobs in the middle of nowhere. Oh my God, just got out of college last year. Congratulations. Yeah, no, it's a tough feat. I'm not done with my journey yet. I think I've told you guys, I've changed my major 5 times in college. Yeah, 5 times. 5 times. Apparently that's actually like average. Average. People change their majors a lot. I had a friend that changed it like 8 times. Yeah, I think, what is the, I think it was like the average times of, the average college student changes their major like 4 or 5 times. I still have 3 things I want a degree in. No, that's so real. Like, I honestly, I would love, I've thought about like double majoring or maybe getting my master's, but I don't know. I feel like I'm at this point now in my life where I shouldn't be in school. You know, it sucks because I'm seeing, here's the thing. They always say like comparison is a thief of joy, and it absolutely is. All right. And don't ever feel bad for comparing yourself to other people, because that's just human nature, right? That's literally just human psychology. We can't help ourselves sometimes. So when I think I've talked about my like college journey a few times on stream. So I've been in and out of college for a long time. For a while, I wasn't in college because I was working my office job. And it's a huge feels bad when I see all my friends that I went to school with in high school. They're already like getting their big corpo jobs, or they're on their salary jobs now, and they're able to buy houses and all these things. And I feel so much shame because I cannot help. I just cannot help but feel bad that I'm still in school. It's honestly, whenever I catch up with my like old friends, because recently I started talking to like some of my old friends from high school, because we were just catching up, and they were just like, Sai, you're still in school? And I was just like, yeah, I am. They're like, what happened? And I'm like, life. And I don't know, I feel so much shame, even though I know I shouldn't, okay? I feel so much shame being there. Hi, Odin! I'm so sorry I didn't see you on stream! I'm still in school too. I think there's no shame, but for, like, no shame, I think everybody, like, I don't think there's a max age you should be in school, but I feel like personally for me, I'm ashamed to still be in school because all of my peers and colleagues I grew up with are no longer in school, and they have like big corporal jobs, and I just cannot help but feel bad about it. Even though I know I shouldn't be. Thank you, Lotus, for the follow. This is my 3rd time or now. No, you're so real. I've been actually attending college since I was in high school. I did concurrent enrollment, which is even more embarrassing if you think about it, because I actually did concurrent enrollment in high school to get ahead, to graduate early. And life didn't work out the way I wanted it to, okay? Life didn't work out that way. I was like, I would literally get off of school at like 3 o'clock, and then at the time I wasn't driving, so I had one of my friends who did concurrent enrollment with me drive me to like the college, and I would stay there till 9 p.m. to take college classes and then come home. This was like 4 days a week, and it was like, it was one of those things where I just wanted to get school done with after high school, and it just didn't work out that way. And I feel so bad. To be fair, when I graduated, it was during that weird time, like a year later, that's when the world went into literally, basically all my friends. There's no shame in that. There's a guy in Australia who's been in school for 30 years. He keeps getting degrees because he gets a school scholarship for each one. You know what? That's at that point, that's a job, you know? Right, if you're interested, you're fine. Yeah, oh God, there's so many things I want to learn. Like, I mean, you guys know this about me. I do voice acting, or I haven't done it in a while. I had my foot into like professional voice acting for a while, and I really loved it. So I was in school to get a theater degree because I really wanted to improve my acting skills. And then that, I ended up switching majors because I wanted something more stable, if that makes sense. Like, I knew I was good at what I did, and all my peers and all my professors were letting me know, like, I was good at what I did. But at the same time, I didn't have the confidence in myself to, like, take the degree farther than, you know, whatever. So then I decided to switch over. And I'm really happy with where I'm at now. I'm actually really enjoying like the courses and like my potential career path. But my biggest fear is also not being able to find a job, right? After college. Well, I'm very, very grateful to be able to like, you know, even if, you know, I can't find a job right away after college, I have Poseidon. Like you know, this is a stream of income. Is it a lot? No, not really. But you know, it's a good stream of income and I'm really happy where I'm at. But if I had the choice, I would love to get a degree. I would love to get a degree in computer science. I kind of like, I was looking into psych. I was a psychology major for a while too. Yeah. So you also get passive income from YouTube, which by the way, if you're not subbed on YouTube, please go sub on YouTube. That is honestly, watching my YouTube videos, my shorts, my react videos, like my VODs and stuff on YouTube, that is the best way to support me for free, okay? You don't have to pay me money or anything, all right? You don't have to pay anything. If you literally just run it in the background with like the tiniest sound on, like it's unbelievable how much it helps me, so. Yeah, everyone lives at their own place. That ever in the first 6 years. Dude, I feel you so bad. Listen, I don't want to get too much into this topic because I don't know how relevant it is for you guys. What I do with studying for nursing. Yeah, what do you call it? I was also a nursing student for a while. Then I was a nursing student for a year. And then I figured it wasn't for me. I don't think I genuinely ever wanted to like just like quit school more than I have ever like wanted to when I was doing nursing. So I only did nursing to appease my Filipino mother. But I quickly learned it wasn't for me. It was not, you know. So that's okay. You keep jumping ship. And that's the thing with life, right? Where things change. You as a person change. Like I'm definitely, I feel like a different person than I was like 3 years ago. I'm definitely a different person than I was when I debuted as Poseidon. People change and so does like life circumstances and interests and all of that. Yeah. Nursing and psych are such hard fields. No, they absolutely are. I have so much respect for people who work in those fields because I think I learned that I don't have the heart to deal with it because I'm very like emotional. So I feel like if you want to work in those type of fields, you have to have a very, very, very strong like mental, which I don't have. So that's why I ended up switching. That's why I ended up not pursuing it. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm really looking forward to like the rest of my like education. But I'm also at this point now where I'm like, man, I wish I could be done already. But I'm like halfway done. I'm not even close. So VTuber from all things. Spoiler alert. There's a human behind this VTuber. Shocking. Shocking. I know I started speedrun, I used to be a nurse, and honestly the mental strength for a lot of those things is unreal. No, it is. It is. I've honestly thought about it. I've toyed with the idea, like before I was like fully committing to full-time college, right? I had the choice. I was like, do I want to go down this route? And then I was really considering going back down the nursing route because it is one of those things that I feel like no matter what happens with like AI and everything like that, that's probably going to be the one field that won't get affected. Because you don't want to have most people probably don't want to have a robot as their nurse. You know, people want real people. And I thought about it, and then I told myself, I was just like, if I were to do something for the rest of my life, is this what I want to do? Yes, the money and everything like that is nice, but at the same time, like, I would hate to be coming home after, like, you know, a 12-hour shift and have to go back like 10 hours later. Like, I feel like that would be so miserable for me personally. Some people enjoy it. Like, for example, my mom, Mother Rhea. So she works in healthcare. She's not a nurse, but she works in healthcare and she has a pretty significant role. I'm not gonna tell you guys what exactly she does, but this woman, I think this is where I get my overworking from, because my mom, she's a workaholic. All right, this woman, she likes to live life busy. All right. She has two full-time jobs. She doesn't need to have 2 full-time jobs, but she does because she enjoys her job. But this woman, she would literally have a 12-hour shift, come home for like 4 hours and go to her next shift. And I don't know how she does it. I don't know. And I thank my mom all the time about like, man, like you work so hard, and thank you for providing me and my siblings, like, you know, the life we have now and making us the people we are. But I think that's where I get it from, because my mom works so hard, and I too kind of want to like follow her footsteps in being a hard worker too. I feel like though sometimes I could be doing more. I used to manage a psych ward and nurses were the goats. Oh my god, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. Shout out to people who work in like psych wards, man. I remember I went to go visit my mom at work one time, and she was like, Sai, look, this is the psych ward. And I looked, and there was like a little window I could peek into, and they all looked like sad. I was like, oh man. I hope they get better soon. What videos are we reacting to today? Let's see. I picked out, there's a new M&J TV video I saw this morning. 2 Wolfie videos, and a This Is Chris video. I'm hoping we can kind of speed run the reacts today, because, yeah. Speaking of, guys, I went out with my mom yesterday, because it was her birthday on Monday. I should have made a little thread for her, and I would have given it to her. What would be cool if we did, like, a birthday card for my mom? Is it too late to do a birthday card for my mom? Oh my god. Yeah, it's funny because my mom actually now like clicks on my channel and stuff. It's so embarrassing. Maybe. Never too late. Yeah, my mom really loves you guys. They're together at Kudo board. We're good. Should we do that for my mom? Miss Mother Rhea. Miss Mommy Wami. Siegfried, thank you so much for the 29 months. Sup, P-Dog, love you. Nerd question. If I got get a cup, can I have your hair and gotta hydrate? Absolutely. Here's the psych word, said Mother Rhea. Alright, let's make a quick Kudo board for my mom, and then we'll get to reacting. Because I think I have to be done with stream at a certain time so I can set up for the later collab. I'm really excited. We're gonna start having a schedule next week. Really excited, really excited. Yeah, I'm taking, I'll be free next week, and then I will be on a small vacay for a little bit with family. Because now that I'm out of school, my family is literally like, oh, Sai, now we can go on trips. And I'm like, great, I'm still going to be out of my house. You done Team Sky recently? I'm not. I'm not. Everybody keeps commenting about it, but I'm not gonna react to it until I'm like hecka catched up with my videos. Because right now, I've been really liking to react to things between like 30 to maybe 45 minutes, just due to time restraints. Thank you for the hydrate check. As per usual, I have my protein coffee today. I had a tortilla for breakfast this morning. All right, let's see. What is this? Create a board. What is the occasion? Birthday. Who is the recipient? Mother Rhea. Happy birthday to Mother Rhea. Include a gift? No. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do that. What? Do I have to pay for this? Do I have to pay for a kudo board? Do I? Oh, huh? There's free alternatives out there. I remember when this thing used to be free. What the heck? I'm actually low-key kind of mad. Kermit the Hermit, thank you so much for the 4 months. This is economy's that bad? All right, I'll use this one. Happy birthday to Mother Rhea. Wait. Customize this board. No. My mom's colors are yellow. Thank you for being size mom. Oh god. Yeah, my mom's colors are okay. I don't know. Guys, if I give you guys this board, you promise you guys will write something nice to my mom. Oh my god. Wait, why am I... Oh, what the heck? I was like, why am I hearing myself? I had my stream playing on my phone this whole time. Alright, how do I do this? Share link directly. Please wish my mom... Oh wait, hold up. Mother Rhea, a happy birthday here. Yippee. Okay, I'll send it. Is that... Can you guys see that? Can you guys write something nice for my mom? If you guys write something stinky nasty, I'm going to delete your comment. So don't even try me. I am not the 1 or the 2. If anybody gets that reference, thank you. We have access. Call her Mama Poseidon. Mom Poseidon. Her name is Mother Rhea. Write something nice to my mom, please. I'll write something nice to her too after stream. Okay. I don't know. Could I put a picture here? Can I put a picture? Alright, we're not doing audio messages. How do I? Oh, whatever. Thank you for... Okay. This is fine, smiles. How do I click save? Oh, there's... There's the save button. Just Rhea or Mama Rhea. Whatever you guys want to call her. As long as it's not stinky nasty, then you're fine. Did I spell mother right? Am I illiterate? Did I write my email? I don't think you do. I think you just write a thing. Have an amazing day. You know where she's at right now? She's at work. She's at work. Either she's at work or she's at home doing something. I don't know. Hey! Okay. While you guys are doing that, we should probably switch. Good morning from the Philippines. Good morning. Isn't it nighttime over there? Isn't it like late night? Late night. Don't mind. Yay! My mom's gonna be like, what the heck? Nobody tell my mom I'm making her a birthday card from my chat. I don't know. I don't think there's anything. Anyway, you guys can tell her. I know some people were asking like, oh, you should make your mom a VTuber. I don't think you guys want that. I promise you. I don't think my mom is like, she's gonna say things she's not supposed to say. I don't trust. 2:33. Oh my goodness, yeah. That's late. That's late. Man, I want to go back to the Philippines. I haven't been back in like 4 years now. You would want that, but you probably don't. You know, that's probably what I want. I don't want. She's gonna say things she's not supposed to say. I said, hopefully it works. Never done a board like that before. Going back to the Philippines next month. I want to go back so bad. What do you mean you're not in the Philippines? I'm not. I'm Filipino-American. But I go back every... Oh, yay! Everybody's posting. Wait, let me put this on the Discord server. Hold up. Hi guys, can you sign my mother Rhea's birthday card? Please be nice, thanks. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah. This is awesome. This is so cool. My mom is going to be so confused. I'll probably send it to her later today. All right. I'm like 3 days late. It's okay. I got her something. It's fine. I just didn't think about having a community birthday card for my mom until now. Which I think is really funny. I want to go back, meet with Japan. I really want to go back to Japan. I was actually talking to my mom about it. She was just like, Sai, do you want to like take like a trip next year? Next year to like an Asian country? Because I've actually always wanted to go to Korea, like South Korea. Because I've been to Japan twice already. So I'm just like, I've never been to South Korea outside of like a layover where I stayed in the airport the entire time. So I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts. So I was like, yeah, I really want to go to Korea because one of my favorite foods, like one of my favorite cuisines is Korean cuisine. Oh my God, I can eat Korean cuisine like every meal and I'd be happy. My mother really wants to go to Thailand. I haven't been to Thailand. My mom actually took a trip to Thailand maybe like 3 months ago. And she really enjoyed it. I've been to Hong Kong twice. It's so pricey though. Yeah, traveling, I understand, is a privilege. I know. I have like a dedicated savings account actually for traveling. And I don't know. I don't even know where I want to go. I mean, I do know where I want to go, but you know, it's like when you're saving money and you just don't want to see the number go down, you kind of just don't want to touch it. That's me. Which I guess is a good habit, right? My friend's next year for Japan. I'm ready to get as many Pokemon centers as possible. Have fun. It's actually a really great time to go to Japan. I think the conversion rates are really good. I think the most expensive part about going to Japan is actually the flight. The flight is going to be the one that kills you. I also need to go to South Korea because I promised a friend I'd visit. I really, really want to go to South Korea. South Korea sounds like fun. To go, like, on food tours or, like, bar hopping. That sounds fun. Hot take, traveling should be a human right unless you're human garbage. I think every human deserves to see the world. Another place I really want to go to is I really want to go to Amsterdam. I've only been to Europe twice. I've been to Paris and I've been to Rome. And both are beautiful cities. Everybody, before I went to go visit Paris with my family. I remember everybody was telling me, like, Sai, it stinks and it's nasty over there. And I'm like, oh no, oh God. I'll be really honest with you. I absolutely loved Paris. Like, yes, you know, there were parts of the city that smelled like urine, all right? But, like, I feel like most major cities kind of have that. You go to New York City, it smells like urine. You go to Los Angeles, it smells like urine. You go to Chicago, it smells like urine when you're walking on the streets sometimes. So I didn't really, like, understand. I didn't see it. I didn't see a problem with that. The city itself was absolutely beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I loved going to Paris. And then Rome was also its a whole, like, oh, this is awesome. It's beautiful. The Colosseum was great. And I got to do a lot of fun stuff. I went to go see the Vatican, and there was, like, a TCG shop near the Vatican. And I went over there, and I bought Italian Pokemon cards, and it was great. Apparently, Italy is really big in VGC for Pokemon, but not TCGs. Apparently, there's not a lot of TCG shop. The Pope plays TCGs. No, are you lying to me? I feel like, does he really? What was that one? Someone said, I remember seeing a picture about the Pope, like, wearing Nikes or something, and I was like, that's awesome. A very interesting library. I'm memeing. I'll be really funny if the Pope, like, knows how to play Magic. That'd be really funny. Yeah, no. I really want to go back to Europe. I think Europe is a great place. There's a bunch of TCG shops, depending on where you go. He just signed Pope Poplio cards. That's awesome. About the church and having TCGs nearby to me, but I'm TCGP. I know a lot of people like baseball. He's a White Sox fan. Yeah, the current Pope is American. European TCG cards are so expensive. Oh my God, really? I went when Lost Thunder was the current set, so I got like French and Italian Lost Thunder cards. It was great. Whereabouts? Because that's many countries. I really want to go to Amsterdam. I really want to go to the UK at some point. I want to go to the Netherlands. Yeah, that's Amsterdam, right? I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Greece for obvious reasons. I want to go to Spain. Spain's like another one. I'm like, ooh, I really, really want to go here. Thought you'd be playing Subnautica today. Wait, what gave you that idea? I'd say it. Skip Greenland. You know where I really want to go? I really want to go to Scotland. I just want to go everywhere. I just want to go to places. Okay, I just want to see the world. I told myself one of my life goals was I don't know if I'm ever gonna achieve in my lifetime, but I would like to maybe get like a little bit there. I want to see the 7 wonders of the world. I really want to see those. I imagine Mario and a chef house selling Pokemon cards and pizza at the same time. I want to see the world so bad. You should come to the UK for Pokemon EUIC, for sure. Yeah, some of my locals went to EUIC last year. But, I don't know, maybe I should. Maybe one of these days. Dark Sign! Thank you so much for the 2 months! Thank you! You can see whales on the land. What? Honestly, is this a hot take? I don't think British food is as bad as people say it is. Honestly, people like clown on British food, but I look at it and I'm like, guys, this doesn't even look that bad. I think you guys are overreacting. It's food, no. Beans on toast does not sound that bad. Maybe the jellied eels might be a little scary, but like, I feel like every culture has that one food that's a little scary, you know? Like, dinuguan for Filipinos, that's literally like blood soup. I don't think that's, yeah. Just go to a gacha convention. Oh my goodness. British food is great. Yanks are just cowards. What is Yanks? Why do I feel like that's a slur? Did I say something I'm not? Is that a bad word? On one end we have gold, and the other, oh, Yanks are Americans. Oh, like Yankee. Okay. Is that a derogatory term for Americans? For British people? Couldn't do it. Yeah, like, I feel like every culture has, like, that one food that freaks people out. Like, for example, Filipinos is, like, dinuguan, and, like, maybe this is, like, Southeast Asian, but, what is it? A balut. I can't eat balut. I'm Filipino. I can't eat balut. That's a little too far for me. Isn't a slur? It's the response to calling us calling Brits limeys. I didn't even know that. How Brits are tea drinkers are crumpet munchers. Yeah, you bean toaster. you jellied eels. You fish and chips. I'm sorry, I don't know much British food. Honestly, the crumpets are good. I've had crumpets once. They were fine. They're okay. I was always wanted to eat kare-kare with bagoong. I love kare-kare. It's my favorite. So there's no British insults. Just insults aimed at the English. Yeah, because it's like, what? Scotland? Wales? Great Britain? And I don't know the other one. I grew up eating it called chocolate meat and didn't know it was actually blood stew till I loved it. No, that's literally what my parents did. They were like, it's chocolate. I'm like, this doesn't taste like chocolate. Northern Ireland. Oh, yes, Ireland. Yes. Yes. I could go for fish and chips. Like, proper ones, not American. I want to try real fish and chips. You know what I want to try? A sausage roll. Everybody talks about how great British or English sausage rolls are. With stuff in chocolate, like jalapeno and cream cheese. I've never had chocolate with jalapeno and cream cheese, like, ever. Remember when I said I was gonna react and then we started talking about British food? Oh, the British have taken over the stream! Oh, that's a sign I need to drink more coffee. Our ADHD mega evolved. Good protein coffee. I make a great protein iced coffee in the morning. It's great. Could be a sign of needing more water. True. I like steak. What are steak bakes? British steak over the stream. Shall we react now? That's horrible. I need to watch more Bridgerton to make my my British accent better. It's time to rewatch Bridgerton, chat. I don't know. I love that show. I don't care what anybody says. Actually, no. I think most people are like, yeah, that show's actually not that bad. A lot of sex. Which is totally not the reason why I watched the show. Alright? I cannot do a Scottish accent. Steak bakes are covered in pastry. That sounds awesome. Segs? I'm sorry. Listen. It's a great show. If you like romance and dirty scenes. Try a Welsh accent. What does a Welsh accent even sound like? I remember I need to roll an R. Apparently, it's most people, or not most people, a good chunk of people don't know how to roll their R's. And I'm like, really? Because for me, it's like easy, but I don't know. I was trying to teach one of my friends how to roll their R's, and they just couldn't do it. I was just like, I just go by like, ratatouille. Gargling spit. Oh my gosh. A Welsh accent is just English, but more camp. My mother's tongue is Spanish, and I can't roll R. No! Nino Cooney cutscene? Hello.
People got this
Why
idea in
the
their head
fuck?
that
I thought this
Boofalint
was
is
a
just a
YouTube
silly looking
link.
bison.
What the?
Embedded in my Welshness, and I made one up recently, which I thought which made me laugh, which was in Aberystwyth there is a locksmith. His name is Dysmith.
What? I cannot do that.
But you're actually from a small town in Wales?
I am, yeah.
That's the name of your town.
What the heck?
So,
Can you do it? It requires some vocal warm-ups.
Taryn, can I ask you not to do that thing with your lips again?
Mia from Xenoblade 2?
No?
Do it again.
What does it sound like?
Wow, come on.
I don't know what he just said. Dude, now my recommended is going to be Welsh accent. What is this? Speak!
What the bloody hell is this? Don't tell me this is meant to be me.
A remarkable likeness, to say the least.
Oi, did you see something?
No. I fear they may have conflated our countenances, my lady. How
What?
very awful.
I guess I can kind of see where you guys are saying it's like an English accent, but more campy. I can hear it, kind of. I don't know. I'm not good at accent work. That was like one of my biggest weaknesses when I was like doing like voice acting and I was like getting coaching and everything. I literally was like telling my coach, I'm like, damn, I just am really bad at accents. And I was like, I was doing a demo reel, right? With a director, and the director, we had a few sessions, and like the first time around, he was just like, all right, Sai, so what accents can you do? And I was just like, well, I can do a really good Filipino accent. It's not that great. So he was just like, you can't do accents very well. I'm like, nope. Sorry. Just my tongue just does not work like that. Drippy from Nino Kuni. No Kuni. Who the fuck is this? Okay, I swear to God.
I brought you some apple pie.
Where's the goddamn guy? Oh, it's here.
Curse lifted, is it? Tiny! I'm free!
I'm free! I'm free! Drippy's voice is kind of funny.
Level 5's game need numerous charm fairies that be even use.
Okay. Sorry for shutting down the Welsh accent. It's fine. I have to get educated somehow, right? I have to get educated somehow. I need to play more Ni no Kuni. I don't know much about Ni no Kuni, if I'm being honest. So I'm sorry if I sound like a noob. I sound like a noob. Anyways, we should probably get to reacting. Happy Thursday! New M&J TV video dropped. We have 151 Pokemon that need new types. Need new types, as in they should change types or add a type. I'm not sure what he means here. Anyways, we're gonna be watching 151 Pokemon that need new types by M&J TV.
Type. Charizard.
Let's start over.
I found 151 Pokemon that would make a lot of sense with a new or additional type. Charizard could have the dragon type, and in fact,
Florges is not even a grass type, no?
Sometimes does. I don't think I need to elaborate on this one. Ekans and Arbok could gain the dark type. Arbok in particular is vengeful and utilizes fear as a combat technique. Plus then we'd actually have Kanto dark types. Cleffa, Clefairy, and Clefable could be normal types since they were for many years. So technically not like a new type, but what's old is new again. Like low-rise jeans. I think I'm very out of touch with the fashion world. Ninetales has several secondary types that could work. Fairy because its Alolan form has it. Psychic because
I don't think Cantonian Ninetales needs a fairy type. I think Psychic definitely fits it better. I think Fairy should stay exclusively to Alolan version.
That has mystical powers and even utilizes mind control.
Yeah, I think that's more Psychic aligned than Fairy.
Control and hypnotism. My personal favorite though is Ghost. Because it lives for 1,000 years, is said to be 9 reincarnated saints, and vengefully inflicts curses on those who touch its tail.
I guess so, right? Because it's based off of like a spirit, like a kitsune, right? Am I on the right path here? Of Ninetales is based on that, so maybe Ghost might actually like fit better.
Heals.
Oh, it's a yokai guy.
Psyduck and Golduck could be psychic type.
Yeah, the fact they're not psychic is criminal.
This is one of the more infamous examples in this video. Always tormented by headaches, it uses psychic powers, but it is not known if it intends to do so. A Golduck is an adept swimmer.
He just has a headache.
Sometimes joins competitive swimmers in training. It uses psychic powers when its forehead shimmers with light. And Psyduck has frickin' Psy in its name! There's gonna be a lot of Pokemon in this video where there's a clear reason why they don't have the type that I'm suggesting. They already have 2 types that make as much or more sense, like Charizard with Dragon. Psyduck and Golduck are not one of those Pokemon. You could just slap Psychic on there so easily. Krabby and Kingler could add the bug type.
If they were able to change some of the Pokemon into fairy types when like Fairy was introduced, I think Pokemon should be able to just slap on types to Pokemon. Let's say Gen 10, like, hey, we're updating the typings for these set of Pokemon.
Type. Crabs are bugs. The bug type encompasses arthropods, a phylum that includes insects, arachnids, and crustaceans. We already have several bug-type crustacean Pokemon, and crabs are the most famous crustaceans of all. Voltorb and Electrode could gain the steel type. For many years I felt that just because they looked like Pokeballs didn't necessarily mean that they were made of the same material, which by all accounts appears to be some kind of metal. But then we got their Hisuian forms, wooden to match the Pokeballs used in Legends Arceus.
I think Hisui and Electrode are so silly.
And thus, they were grass type. Therefore, if they're matching the material of the time, then they could absolutely be metal themselves. Happiny, Chansey, and Blissey could all be fairy type. Not only are they pink, which is nice, but they're centered around happiness and healing, a common theme among fairy types.
Yeah, that's
Pinsir
fair.
could add.
Could I be honest? I thought they were already fairy types. I actually thought they were fairy types. Oops.
Add the fighting type. It's the counterpart of bug fighting Heracross, and the two are based on different kinds of beetles used in insect fighting. Plus, in every game until Legends ZA, it learns more fighting attacks by level up than bug attacks.
Silly.
Usually far more. If you include the non-damaging Detect, it's still more fighting moves than bug moves. Gyarados could be dragon type. Magikarp and Gyarados are inspired by a legend about how carp that leapt over the Dragon Gate would become dragons. Lance and Claire use it. It looks like a Chinese dragon. This thing is a dragon. And yet, it is a flying type, and when it mega evolves, it turns into a dark type. What are we doing? Ridiculous. Kabuto and Kabutops could be bug type. They're based on trilobites and Europterids, respectively, which are extinct arthropods. And as already discussed, arthropod equal bug. Aerodactyl could be dragon type. Big flying lizard-looking monster. Lance uses it, and it doesn't really have anything rocky about it until it mega evolves. Dratini, Dragonair.
Can I be honest? I don't really like Mega Aerodactyl. You can shoot me for that. I feel like I used to like it, but now as time goes by, I look at it and it looks a little funky to me.
And Dragonite would all work as water types.
I think
all
so
three
too.
are explicitly stated to live in the water, and Dragonite is even called the sea incarnate. Mewtwo could be dark type. Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. It's Mew.
That would be really cool if it was like Mewtwo was a dark type and Mew is like a psychic, almost like light and dark. That would have been such a cool motif, but I guess we kind of get that with Absol now, right?
But stronger and crucially, meaner. So adding the dark type would have been perfect. Plus the dark type is translated as the evil type in Japanese, and while the true villains of the Mewtwo story are the scientists who created it, he did kind of blow up some people. They arguably deserved it, but it's still that's a dark type thing still. As a nice balance to this, Mew works as a fairy type. Cute, sprightly, good-natured, and would now get a type advantage over Mewtwo. I've long felt Meganium could have been fairy type, even before its mega evolution.
Yeah.
Its aroma calms aggressive feelings, which is the same thing.
I will not accept any Meganium slander in my community. Meganium is awesome and overhated.
Sylveon does. Politoed could gain the normal type. We'll never get a sound type, because normal covers it. Exploud.
I wish. Do you guys think that Pokemon will introduce a new type within like the next few gens? I don't think so, but I really wish they would. It would be so cool.
Meloetta, Audino, Chatot, Obstagoon, DJ Rotom and Pokopia, Hyper Voice, Boom Burst, Sing, most of the other moves, soundproof blocks. I could go on, but you get the idea. If it's sound related and doesn't have another element overriding it, like Grass Whistle, then it's normal type. Most of Politoed's dex entries discuss its singing, calling, and croaking. It's noisy, so it's a sound type. I mean normal type. Actually, while we're here, let's do one fell swoop, knocking out all of the heavily sound-related Pokemon that are not already normal type, and thus could be. Those are Chingling, Chimecho, Kricketot, Kricketune, Maractus, Primarina, Kammo-o, Rillaboom, and Toxtricity. Umbreon could be poison type because when agitated, this Pokemon protects itself by spraying poisonous sweat from its pores.
That is disgusting.
Fun fact, this is a reference to the fact that Umbreon was poison type in the 1997 Nintendo Space World demo. Dunsparce and Dunsparce could be ground.
I wonder why they changed it to dark. I think it would have been so cool if we had a poison evolution. Excuse my yawn. Hopefully I didn't make any of you yawn. I'm glad they changed it. I mean, so yeah, I think dark type's definitely cool, but I really wonder. Smurby, thank you so much for the 9 months. Dark hasn't been invented yet. Fair enough.
Type, since they live underground and literally have drills for tails.
They're
Snubble
so
and
funny.
Granbull.
I think Dunsparce is such a funny evolution. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's just silly that he just has an extra link on it.
Could be normal type because they were before. Plus, they're mostly just animals that happen to be a little pink. I feel like normal actually made more sense. Lugia should be water type. Diving Pokemon. Guardian of the Seas. Look.
Me? Poseidon? Mythos?
How much freaking water there is when you find it. I said Psyduck and Golduck might be the most infamous examples in this video. Lugia probably passes them. Celebi could be fairy type.
Onion.
This is a fairy.
I agree.
Like, look at it. It's a little thing with wings. If it wasn't already grass psychic type, it would have been a fairy type once they added it.
I feel like that fits better.
Overwrite psychic. They can only overwrite normal. Be brave. Could have had a grass fairy. That's what it is.
Haha! It is I, Grunty Boy, and oh, ow.
You okay?
Just a minor injury. I was riding my bike with headphones in and thus couldn't hear my surroundings.
Oh, and you crashed?
No, actually, I was mobbed by a pack of feral hogs.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, maybe you would have heard them coming if you'd had the essential open earbuds from Raycon, the sponsor of today's video.
What is Grunty Boy using?
Yeah. They sit just outside your ear canal, giving you clear sound, but still allowing you to hear the world around you. They also have flexible around the ear hooks, giving you a secure fit.
Ah, very comfortable, very light.
Very nice.
Unlike the hooves.
They've got 36 hours of battery life, multi-point connection. They're fantastic. I find them particularly useful when doing work outside, so I can enjoy my music while still being able to hear if my fiance calls to me. Or I could also hear any approaching packs of feral hogs.
Oh good, you gotta watch out for those.
The essential open earbuds are the perfect addition to your everyday routine. Go to buyraycon.com/.
Man, I've actually been looking into getting new earbuds because my 6-year-old AirPods are literally about to explode. And I'm like, Raycon might look into that.
JTV Open to get 15% off. Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring.
Fantastic! I'm definitely getting a pair.
Good. Wait, before you go, I just realized you said it was a minor injury, yet you dealt with an entire pack of feral hogs?
Turns out I can handle myself.
What?
By the way, unrelated, I'm having a barbecue next weekend. You should come. I'm making pork chops. Ta-ta!
Sableye could be rock type. Gems and crystals are part of its body, made even more abundantly obvious in its mega form. Trapinch, Vibrava, and Flygon could all be bug types because—
Were they not already? I'm just realizing how horrible I am at remembering Pokemon's types. I actually thought this whole line was bug type already.
they're based on antlions, an insect whose larval stage builds pit traps like Trapinch, but once they metamorphose—
I don't like bugs! I don't want to look at them!
they look more like dragonflies. But that's not all. They got a few that work. You could also argue normal because of the sounds Vibrava and Flygon's wings make. And of course, flying works too, since they have wings and can fly. It's frickin' Flygon! Go Team Sky! There are actually quite a few Pokemon that fly using wings that could then, of course, be flying type Pokemon. There are reasons that they're not, of course. They might have 2 other types that make more sense, but not all of them do. And Levitate offers you kind of a way around this. But if they were flying type, they wouldn't need Levitate and could have a different ability. I'm not saying this should happen, but let's just go ahead and cover the Pokemon that could be flying type because they use wings to fly. They gotta have wings.
Stop trying to take our dragon typing real.
Is that really flying?
No.
It's flying type, not floating type. Beedrill, Venomoth, Dustox, Volbeat, Illumise. Those last 2 ones are weird, by the way. Like, they're just pure bug. Why aren't they bug flying? They fly. Latias, Latios, Hydreigon, Volcarona, Reshiram, Zekrom, Decidueye, Vikavolt, Cutiefly, Rabombi, Drampaw, Flapple, Dreepy, Dracloak, Dragapult. Those last ones do have wings. Their heads are planes. The wings don't flap, but they're wings. Roaring Moon and Pheasantipity. Should they be flying type? Some of them, yes. Volbeat and Illumise, 100%. But this specific exercise is less about should and more could. There will be a lot in this video that are definitely should. Corfish and Crawdont are crayfish, which are arthropods and thus bug type. Lileep and Cradilly could be a couple things beyond grass and rock. They live on the seafloor.
What are these supposed to be? Like, is it like type of creature? I never understood what these Pokemon Cradilly is. What is that?
So water is a fair fit, but poison arguably works better.
They're barnacles? Prehistoric plants? Algae? Deep sea creatures. Sayu made them. I didn't make these Pokemon. These look freaking freaky.
particularly for Cradilly, since it melts the prey with a strong acid.
Ew.
Does that remind you of another grass poison type? Anorith and Armaldo could be water type. Anorith lived in the sea, and while Armaldo moved to land, it still hunted in the sea. Plus, they always get at least one water move by leveling up. Milotic could be fairy type. Like previously discussed actual and potential fairy types, it excels at soothing negative emotions. Absol would frankly be really cool as a fairy type, especially Mega Absol.
Yeah. Oh, yay! We're talking about this. I love the idea of Mega Absol being like a fairy type because it's like the angel, and then I think Mega Absol like Z, or is that what it's called? Right, the Z version of it being the devil and having like dark typing. I love that motif. I think the Mega Absol Mega Evolutions are awesome. I don't know why I said Mega twice.
With its wings, it warns of disasters to help, but is misunderstood as the cause of them, which feels like the perfect
hot topic ass Pokemon
way to combine dark and fairy. Glalie could be rock type. Glalie has a body made of rock, which it hardens with an armor of ice. Nice and easy. Love Disc could be water fairy. Pink, heart, love.
Yes.
Duh. Cranidos and Rampardos could be steel type. This requires a bit of explaining, but I feel very strongly about this. Their counterparts, Shieldon and Bastiodon, are indeed steel type, but their dex entries never explicitly state that they have any metal on their bodies, only that their faces are extremely hard, even harder than steel. Cranidos and Rampardos.
Starter Pokemon would be so much better stat-wise if a second type was added. Yeah, but also, wouldn't it like also change meta like significantly too? If you like start changing like the types of Pokemon, I feel like for VGC that would definitely matter.
Are the same. Cranidos' fossils are described as iron ball-like, and both have an entry that says its skull is as hard as iron. Rampardos even has one that says the same thing as the Bastiodon one I mentioned, that it's harder than steel. If Shieldon and Bastiodon get to be steel type because of their extremely hard heads, then why don't Cranidos and Rampardos get to be steel type for the exact same reason? Miss Magus could be psychic type because it is a witch, and witch Pokemon have been psychic type more than once.
Yes.
Drapion could be bug type. It was one in its pre-evolved form, and it didn't stop being a scorpion. It just got meaner. Finneon and Luminion must be fairy type.
Look at the way their fins, they look like wings. Rotom, hello, thank you for the 14 months.
Easy that they're not. Their fins look like butterfly wings. And guess what fairies tend to have? Also, fairy kinda serves as the light type. What with dazzling gleam and light of ruin and moonlight and twinkle tackle, and these fish glow and have neon in their names. Luminion is luminous plus neon. Nothing about its name is even fish. These Pokemon are so forgettable, and maybe they wouldn't be if they'd gotten fairy type in Gen 6 like they should have.
That's fair.
Electivire could be a fighting type, since it uses
valid.
its electrified fist to beat down opponents. Yanmega could be dragon type because it is a dragonfly. And sure, so is Yanma, but like, Yanmega's really got the dragon vibes, like the spikes, the teeth.
Yeah.
It's pretty dragon. Cresselia could be fairy type.
Dragon. My favorite legendary. I know, it's not water type, but Cresselia is my favorite. I goddamn love this fucking Pokemon so much.
I know psychic and fairy have a lot in common, but this is the moon Pokemon. And do you know what types of move Moonlight and Moonblast are?
Fairy.
IsamaraArt could and should have been fighting type. It is a warrior
it's a literal samurai
that wields a pointy weapon. Does that remind you of anyone else? Basculin could be dark type. It's basically Unovan Carvana. I really think this only applies to the blue and red stripe versions though. White Stripe's gentle demeanor is better suited to just pure water and works better with its evolution into the not dark type Basculegion. Plus, if the originals were water dark, then it would actually be a type change from them to the regional variant. White Stripe Basculin is the only regional variant that doesn't change types from its original forms. Lilligant could be fairy type. Its counterpart Whimsicott got it, and it's unfortunate that it was left behind. And like several others discussed so far.
Dark ghost type for the nightmares it makes. It's pure dark, no?
Its fragrance is relaxing. Good enough for me. Darmanitan could be fighting type.
We can all blame Embor for robbing the fighting type from ShamArart. Yeah, I could see it. I think it would have been cool if Embor was like fire psychic and ShamArart was water fighting. I think that would have been a cool combo. But I get it. Ember's a good Pokemon. It's fire fighting, I guess.
Doesn't have many different dex entries, but a common recurrence is mention of its punches obliterating dump trucks, which is a funny phrase.
That is like so specific.
During the modern slang usage of the term dump truck. Fighting would then also create a nice duality with its Zen mode form's psychic type. However,
it wouldn't work for the design of Embor. I think with the Mega Embor it would have worked. But it would have been, I think it would have been cool.
That form also could have been a rock type, because it's literally a stone statue. No changes to the Galarian forms, though. The standard
I love Galarian Darmanitan. Just look at them, they're bouncing.
mode is gentle.
Or I guess the baby one.
And makes no mention of punches. And its Zen mode form is Ice Fire, which is insanely cool and perfect and should never be touched. I wanted that type for years. It was so cool when we got it. Yamask and Cofagrigus could be steel type. Galarian Yamask and Runerigus are ghost ground because the hunk Yamask holds and the slab Runerigus inhabits are made of clay. While none of Unnovan Yamask's dex entries.
Should have been steel. I think steel would have been cool, but I think because we got a water steel in the previous generation, they weren't thinking about it. I think it's criminal that they only gave a dual type to Embor and not the other two, which significantly made Embor a lot better than the other two. Which makes me so sad, because I think like Superior and ShamArart are great. Like ShamArart's one of my favorite starters. Like Oshawott, I love that goddamn thing. So it makes me sad. ShamArart should be water fighting. I agree. I think it should have been water fighting for ShamArart. It would have been cool for fire psychic for Embor. And then Servine, I don't know what Servine would have been. I think grass poison would have probably been the most basic route that you could go down with a Superior, but I don't know. I have no idea. Embor could have been a monk. That's psychic adjacent. That's very true, because they're spiritual. Wouldn't have been spiritual. I'm trying to think, like, what would have been a good combo with Superior? Because it is pure grass. Poison would be, like, the most obvious. Grass Dragon would have been so sick, yes.
Specify the material the mask is made of. Cofagrigus is stated to be covered in pure gold. And Yamask's mask appears similar. Steel is a bad name for what should be called the metal type, and gold is metal, so if you got gold on your body, you can be a steel type. Audino could be fairy type. Not only does it mega evolve into a fairy type, but it's associated with healing. Similarly, Alomomola could be fairy type because, once again, healing. Clink, Clang, and Klinklang could be electric type. They consistently get about as many electric moves as steel moves, are the only non-electric types to get the abilities plus and minus, and Klinklang literally has dex entries dedicated to talking about how they blast electricity. We're about 2/3 of the way through, so now seems like a good time to say that if you subscribe to my channel, you will get 2/3 happier. That kind of sounds like I'm saying you'll be 2/3 as happy as you were before, like you'll get less happy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like 2/3 of however happy you are right now, you like add that on top, like you'll get much significantly, like 66% happy, like a percentage boost. Golurk could be flying type. I didn't mention it in that group earlier because that was reserved.
Go Team Sky. I think it's funny if it was a flying type since it's a robot.
For Pokemon with wings. But Golurk, despite not having wings, does indeed fly. In fact, I think toward the end of Team Sky's Unova adventure, it was the only team member to actually know the move fly. Braviary should be fighting type. I know it took them a while to expand their definition of the fighting type beyond like humanoid Pokemon that do martial arts, but come on. The more scars they have, the more respect these brave soldiers of the sky get from their peers. For the sake of its friends, this brave warrior of the sky will not stop battling, even if injured. Also, it gets superpower as an Evo move, can learn close combat, reversal, and bulk up. It's essentially a different looking version of Mega Staraptor, a fighting flying type. and yet it's got the same typing as unpheasant. Flabebe, Floet, and Florges could be grass type, literally flowers.
Yes, that's what I was saying at the beginning of the video. How the hell is it not a grass type?
Plus, then they'd actually get use out of their flower veil ability in single battles. More on that in my 21 Pokemon with useless abilities video. Skiddo and Gogoat could be normal type. I've trained myself out of it now, but for a long time, I would mistakenly call these Pokemon grass normal type because of Litleo, Pyroar, Helioptile, and Heliolisk. They're all early Kalos Pokemon with similar design aesthetics that are generally pretty regular animals. Plus, Helioptile, Litleo, and Gogoat were all revealed before X and Y launched. They seemed like they should
They're little guys.
form a sort of trio, yet Skiddo and Gogoat end up pure grass. I don't know, kind of feels like normal should have been given to all of them or none of them. Clauncher and Clawitzer could be bug type. Pistol Shrimp, Arthropods, bug type. But do you know what else are arthropods that I didn't know were arthropods until I started writing this video? Barnacles. Therefore, Binacle and Barbarian
types in the only 6 types in TCG now. Oh no, there's more than 6. There has to be more than 6. I think it was like maybe 7 or 8.
Miracle could also be bug type. Weirder fit for sure, but I don't control the taxonomy. Gumi could be water type. Its body is mostly
little slime guy.
water, which I guess is technically true for us as well. But it lives in wet places, it gets unhealthy if it dries out, and it learns like all the water moves. By extension, Sliggoo and Goodra could be water type as well. Sliggoo literally requires rain to evolve into Goodra. However, I think they could also be poison type. Sliggoo's
because their goo is gross.
mucus can dissolve anything. And while Goodra's slime is only ever referred to as sticky, not acidic, it'd be weird if only the pre-evolution could be dragon poison. But dragon water probably makes the most sense for all 3.
Yes.
Incineroar could be fighting type. Look, I know the last.
I believe in the TCG, Goodra is a dragon type, but you have to use like steel and water to power up. That was like the last like card it was really good in.
Last thing anyone wants is another firefighting starter, but it is a wrestler.
Please give us something that isn't a firefighting starter, please. If Ponbon ends up being firefighting, I'm genuinely going to be so sad.
Like, I would watch it fight a Halucha on pay-per-view. Toucanon could be fire type. Its signature move is Beak Blast, which involves heating up its beak to over 212 degrees Fahrenheit and literally causing burns. And sure, that's heat, not fire, but it also gets flame charge, heat wave, overheat, and temper flare. It at least would have been more interesting than flying normal. It's like, yeah, it would have copied Talonflame, but like, from Gen 6 onward, the regional birds have interesting secondary typings, except Toucanon. It's just normal again.
Just a regular dude.
Lame. Zarina could be fighting type. Kicking is its whole thing. Pyukumuku could be poison type. It's a little odd that its signature move, Purify, is poison type, while it is not. Also, it uses its guts to do stuff, which is like, not explicitly poisonous, but I feel like it would be.
Agreed.
Like if I threw my stomach acid at you, you'd be in bad shape. Comfey could be grass type because flowers again. Delmise could clearly be steel type. While it is technically the possessed seaweed controlling the anchor is more than enough for steel to make sense. In fact, it works so well that it got a signature ability, Steel Worker, which gives it the stab boost for its steel moves.
It's so silly.
Such as its signature move, Anchor Shot, thus becoming the first Pokemon to kinda have 3 types. At least it does offensively.
Kind of.
Levitate doesn't count, by the way. Like, oh yeah, Delmise is offensively 3 types, but Levitate Pokemon are defensively 3, and that's not true. Levitate only gives you the flying type's ground immunity, but none of the other weaknesses and resistances. Also, I wanted to mention Bombardier. Bombardier, like that's gotta be how it's said. It just like, it feels less natural.
I don't know. I've always said bombardier.
Does get its own version of Steelworker for rock type attacks called Rocky Payload, but I am not giving it rock type in this video because it just carries the rocks, they aren't part of its body. Plus, it can have other abilities while Delmise always has Steelworker. Necrozma could be dark type, at least in its base form. It is a dark prism that eats light. It is painfully, literally dark.
It's literally evil.
And yet, here we are, just psychic. Zeraora could be fighting type. While its dex entries mainly discuss its claws and running, its signature move is Plasma Fists. And it gets a lot of fighting moves, both by level up and TM. And look, it's even wearing workout capris. Inteleon could be dark type. Dark is associated not just with aggression, but with stealth and sneak attack tactics.
He's literally 007.
Example, Greninja is a ninja and thus a dark type. Inteleon is inspired by secret agents, kind of the modern day ninjas in a way.
Perry the platypus.
Definitely sneaky though. Like Gigantamax Inteleon's literally a sniper. And like,
it's so
that's like the
cool.
epitome of sneak attack. They generally don't get to attack back. Clavopus and Grappaloct should be water type. They are octopi that live in the sea. And they learn so many water moves. How are they just fighting? Galarian Corsola and Cursula should be rock type. Coral reefs are made of calcium carbonate, which
AKA rock.
is a mineral found in many kinds of rocks. It's secreted by the living coral polyps. And this is why Johtoan Corsola is a rock type. Galarian Corsola and Cursula are dead bleached coral, referring to coral reefs where the polyps are dead or dying, leaving behind only the calcium carbonate. You know, the rock part. The 4 Galar fossil Pokemon are the first non-rock type fossils, which I actually prefer. I've never really liked that every fossil Pokemon except these 4 are rock type, just because they were revived from a body part that had turned to stone. The reviving is reversing time back to when they were alive before any part of them turned to stone. And sure, some of them are kind of rocky, but definitely not all of them. However, there is precedent for them
I goddamn love that damn Pokemon.
all being rock type. So while I'm glad it's not—
These Pokemon make me so sad. I think I've talked about it before, but it makes me sad that they're just jumbled up versions of each other and they look depressed.
the case, rock would have made sense on Arctozolt, Dracozolt, Dracovish, and Arctovish. Hisuian Quillfish and Overquill could be water type. Probably for the best that they're not. I mean, like, it wouldn't be that different from regular Quillfish, and that, like, what would be the point then? But it makes sense. They're fully aquatic creatures. Armarouge and Ceruledge could be steel type, since their evolution involves donning a suit of metallic armor. Cloth could be bug type, the final arthropod of the video, and fittingly, a crab. Wiglet and Wugtrio could be ground type, since much like their convergent counterparts, they live in the ground and never fully exit it. Palafin could be fighting type, at least in its hero form. How is it not? Earthworm could be ground type. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, Earthworm. The earthworm that eats
I hate that goddamn Pokemon.
earth and lives underground and learns more ground moves than steel moves could, shockingly, have been a ground type. Greavard could be fire type due to the candle on its head, but its evolution Houndstone makes more sense as a ground type. Maybe rock because of the stone on its head and stone in its name, but I think ground is better since it is a skeleton, and bone moves are almost always ground type. And to finish things out, the Violet Paradox Pokemon. They are robots, and excluding Miraidon, all their names start with iron, yet only 2 of them are steel types. Thus, Miraidon plus Iron Bundle, Hands...
No, I'm not done with school. I have one more project. I am now an employed shipwreck. Let's go for employment!
Jugulus, Moth,
Employment's so cool.
Thorns, Valiant, Leaves, and Boulder could all be steel type. It'd be less interesting this way, because then you just get a whole bunch of steel types, But I think that's more of a knock on the Violet Paradox Pokemon than anything.
I think they could have probably, excuse me, they probably could have done with maybe a different name that isn't Iron. I don't know what they could have done with that, but could be like Future Hands. I don't know, Future Boulder. I guess that maybe doesn't sound as great, but
else. Like, you gave us a bunch of robots with Iron as their name. Like, the Scarlet ones are just so much more interesting. There are definitely more possible type changes out there, so let me know some of your favorites in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. If you want to see a similar video where instead of new types, I came up with new evolutions for existing non-evolving Pokemon, then you should check out this video here.
Hell yeah. Man, you know what this video taught me? That there are some Pokemon that I think are types that they're actually not. The fact that Game Freak missed so many opportunities to give Pokemon new types in Gen 6 will always astound me. You added a new type, changed many previous types, but you didn't change anything that didn't have to do with fairies. I know someone in chat earlier was like, well, they released fairies to balance dragons, which I guess makes sense, right? But, I mean, if they did that in Gen 6, I am in full belief if they did that in, like, future gens, that it would have been fine. It would have been completely fine, but shrug. Techno Jugulus. Not Techno Jugulus. I don't know, they could do it whenever they want. They could literally do it tomorrow, and I'm sure most people probably wouldn't have an issue with it. I wouldn't, personally. If you want to change the types of certain Pokemon to make it fit their Pokedex entries and their lore more, then go for it. I don't care. Are there any types in currently need of balance? I don't know. That sounds more like a competitive question that I won't be able to answer. Robo hands. The Robo wings. Robot. Beep boop bop. Make Golduck psychic. Yeah, they definitely need to make Psyduck and Golduck psychic. I think it's actually so criminal that they are not. It's actually so crazy. Clankermons? We are not calling them Clankermons. Not Clankermons. Anyways, Clanker hands. Oh my goodness. We got the next video. I don't think we've watched this one. I don't think we have. Have we, chat? I'm pretty sure we haven't seen what is the worst fire type, which is great. I'm just kidding. No, it's not. I like fire types a lot. But, guys, we're not talking about clankers anymore. I don't think so. I don't think so either. Anyways, we're back with more Wolfie VGC because I just cannot seem to get enough of his videos. I love his competitive insight, all right? Might not make entirely sense to me because I'm not VGC pilled, but, you know, I feel like every single time I watch a Wolfie video, I learn more and more. So, anyways, what is the worst fire-type Pokemon by Wolfie VGC?
Fire type Pokemon. Seems like it should be a pretty simple question, but I have a feeling that if I don't want people to show up with pitchforks outside my apartment, I need to set some things straight. First and foremost, I'm only talking about these Pokemon in the official competitive format and how good they are, or more specifically, how bad they are. I'm not talking about design, I'm not talking about a moral value. I'm only talking about how easy it is to win with them in the official competitive format. So if your favorite Pokemon's on this list, I'm not saying it's bad. I like a lot of the Pokemon on this list. Okay, I feel bad putting them here, but I have to. Okay, this is my mission. This is what I was put on this earth to do, to rank bad fire type Pokemon. Those of you who've been following this channel for a while may be familiar with the fact that I recently finished doing the best Pokemon of every type series. And I thought this could be a fun little counterpart to that series since we're done with all 18 types. This is a bit harder though, because like, while I could talk about tournament results when it came to good Pokemon, almost all the Pokemon on this list have no tournament results. So instead I'm talking about their potential and more specifically what holds them back and what makes them, well, not good Pokemon, competitively speaking, okay? In order for this video to actually be interesting, I'll only be talking about Pokemon in their final form. Obviously, like, there's lots of unevolved fire type Pokemon that aren't viable, but that would not be a very interesting video to tell you, oh yeah, Larvesta. This by saying this. I actually like Houndoom a lot. I think it's a really iconic and really memorable Pokemon from Johto, and it even has a Mega Evolution, which is actually the main reason why Houndoom is—
No, did stream crash? Rip sigh. I might take this as a stretch break. I hate multi-streaming so much. I hate multi-streaming so much. I hate multi-streaming so much. The only time, chat, this doesn't happen is when I'm not multi-streaming. This is literally the only time. The only time I don't have this happen to me is when my multi-streaming software isn't on. I don't know if it's the software or if it's me. I cannot tell. It makes me so sad. Or so back. Yeah, it has to happen one time per stream, which makes me so sad. Because then half my Twitch viewership dies. Where did it cut off? Denarius, feel free to cut this part out also. Pretend like it didn't happen! There's a lot of lag on the YouTube side. What the heck? Like 15 seconds ago? Lovesta. Good night, Haruhi. It said Larvesta and it died.
So low. Pokemon should preface number 10 Pokemon on our list. If your favorites on the starting from the least bad and working our way up to the single worst fire type Pokemon. So if your favorites on this list, you better hope that it's in the bottom half. And I have a feeling that a lot of you are going to like the number 10 Pokemon on our list, Houndoom. I think Houndoom is an incredible design. I feel like I should preface by saying this. I actually like Houndoom a lot. I think it's a really iconic and really memorable Pokemon from Johto, and it even has a Mega Evolution, which is actually the main reason why
my hot topic dog
Houndoom is so low on this list, why it's number 10 and not, higher up. Because Mega Houndoom is actually quite good. Houndoom's typing is Fire and Dark, which is pretty good, as it turns out. But because it was introduced in Johto, it doesn't have
Incineroar jump scare incoming.
Very good stats. What I mean by that is basically as the generations go on, Pokemon tend to get stronger and stronger. And so if we look back at Pokemon from the early generations now, they tend to struggle a bit compared to like newer additions to the franchise. Okay, so Houndoom doesn't have great stats, but I mean, let's be honest, there are plenty of Pokemon who are good that don't have very good stats, so it's not like the stats alone make the Pokemon. But the stats aren't the only thing holding Houndoom back. Its abilities are not super good, and by not super good, I mean actually pretty, they're not terrible, but they're not good, It has Early Bird, Flash Fire, and Unnerve. Early Bird means you wake up earlier if you're put to sleep, but Houndoom has bad like survivability, so you can just knock it out. You don't need to put it to sleep. Flash Fire is a useful ability, but it's mostly useful because like it gives you an immunity to a type. Houndoom already resisted fire and also isn't bulky enough to really stay on the field for long enough that an extra immunity is that helpful. And then Unnerve is actually quite a useful ability, but it's better on Pokemon that either have insane damage output so that they can turn off, type resist berries, stuff like that, or it's useful in Pokemon that are going to be really bulky and stick around. Houndoom is neither. So actually in this case, all the abilities are kind of lackluster because the stats are bad. The main redeeming quality of Houndoom is Mega Houndoom, who actually has a very good ability, which is Solar
Mega Houndoom's design. It's so good.
Power. Solar Power gives the user a huge damage boost if the strong sunlight is active, which is a really good ability. Mega Houndoom is also a good Mega Evolution, not in the sense that it's good compared to the other Megas, but in the sense that it doesn't waste any stat points. All Mega Evolutions get 100 bonus stat points total when they Mega Evolve, and none of Houndoom's are wasted. It's actually a very efficient use of the stat points, where it gets a fair bit of power, a decent bit of speed, and then a good amount in its defenses, making it actually respectably bulky is the wrong word, but it won't go down to like every attack anymore. I think the main thing that held Mega Houndoom back as a Mega Evolution was the fact that in order to bring out its full power, you really want the sunlight to be active, and the best way of setting the sun up is with a Pokemon who does it naturally via the ability.
Just like throw it on like a sun team then?
Drought. But the problem is that,
or is there like better Pokemon to have with like versus like Mega Houndoom that would do better on a sun team?
The best drought setter for a lot of the time that Mega Houndoom was around was Mega Charizard, and you can't Mega Evolve 2 Pokemon on your team.
Yeah, Charizard Y exists, so why would you play Mega Houndoom over Charizard?
Houndoom doesn't really have any results, but it also wasn't the single worst Pokemon of all time, but if you wanted to use it, it would be a bit difficult. With Mega Evolution returning Legend Z, I think there's a small chance that Mega Houndoom could be good again, but it's not super
champions. I've been seeing some people try out Mega Houndoom.
Likely because, again, it is one of the worst fire types of all time. Okay, coming in at number 9 is a bit of a weird pick. It's Magmortar. I think I say that funny. There was a video I made where I talked about Magmortar a lot, and I got a lot of comments saying that I said it weird, but I
Magmortar.
feel like I'm saying it the way
Magmortar?
way that it's spelled, so I don't know. What's weird about Magmortar is the fact that Magmar, its pre-evolution, is actually quite good. The reason why Magmar is good is because it can hold the special item that can only be held by Pokemon who have not fully evolved yet, called the Eviolite, which increases their bulk by a considerable amount. And this item is so good, in fact, that it effectively makes Magmar tankier than Magmortar, even if you factor in giving Magmortar a different item like Leftovers or Citrus Berry to recover HP. And the reason why Magmar and Magmortar care so much about their defenses is because of the fact that they get access to one of the best moves in the official competitive format called Follow Me. Follow Me is a move that many of you are probably familiar with. It was used on the infamous Pachirisu that won the World Championship.
You can only hit me and me only.
2014. It basically forces the opponent to target the user instead of the user's partner. And in the double battle format that we play, that's quite strong as it turns out. But because you're basically using your Follow Me user as a punching bag, staying alive is actually pretty important. The more attacks you tank, the more you can protect your teammates. And this is the main reason to use Magmar or Magmortar instead of another fire type Pokemon. And basically, it's not like Magmortar is a terrible Pokemon, which is part of the reason it's not higher up on this list. The problem is that Magmar and Magmortar, like, their best role is to be used as this like defensive punching bag, but Magmar does it better. And every single time Magmortar is around, Magmar is also legal because you can't get Magmortar without Magmar. The other thing is that Magmortar actually gets slower when it evolves, which isn't the biggest deal, and it doesn't get that much slower, but there are times where the speed actually matters, especially on a supporting Pokemon. Sometimes Magmar is going to want to click Overheat or Flamethrower. Sometimes even Will-O-Wisp is used as a supporting option. And so, like, while the speed doesn't matter when you're using Follow Me or Helping Hand or Protect, some of these other supporting moves, it can still be impactful. Magmortar is kind of set up to be a special attacking sweeper because it actually has a good special attack stat, but because it's like kind of in the middle when it comes to speed, it's not so easy to use it outside of Trick Room because it's relatively slow, but it's also fast enough that it doesn't work that well inside of Trick Room, in addition to not being all that strong. Basically, because Magmortar doesn't have a strong role to fill of its own, and because it's kind of just worse than Magmar in the best role that it has, it's a little bit irrelevant most of the time.
Yeah, because like, why would you, like, I feel like that's just a reoccurring theme with these like worst Pokemon. It's like, they may be good at something, but there's always a Pokemon that is just better at it.
Magmortar, I think the design is awesome, but I think the best thing that Magmortar did was give Magmar the ability to use the Eviolite. Now, my plan at the moment is to do a series for the worst Pokemon of every single type. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss future uploads, make sure you subscribe. YouTube's algorithm can be a little finicky, and so sometimes you might want to watch a video from a creator, or at least want to be notified that it exists. And if you don't subscribe, it's less likely that you'll be shown that. It also helps the channel out when you subscribe, so if you want to support myself or the over 30 people who work on this channel, it's like, it doesn't cost anything.
Shout out to those people, because his videos are so well edited and his thumbnails are so good.
And it helps us out a lot. I also want to say thanks to everyone who has subscribed. I really don't take it for granted. And I really appreciate everyone watching this video as well. Like, you all have limited time, and I appreciate that you spend some of it with me and my videos. Anyway, coming in at number 7, people are going to be angry about this one, but I need you to wait a second before you start typing an angry comment, okay? Number 7 is Darmanitan.
No! Sorry, I really liked Darmanitan. No!
The reason why I think people are going to be mad about this is because in the single battle format, Darmanitan's actually quite good. I think Darmanitan has been one of the best Pokemon before. However, I'm talking only about the official competitive format, and so in this format, Darmanitan has effectively 0 results in its base form. Darmanitan also has a Galarian version, which is an ice type Pokemon, and then when it transforms, or it has a mode where it can transform and it changes types, we're not talking about that here. I'm talking strictly about the Unovan Darmanitan. I think that Darmanitan is one of the coolest Pokemon from a design perspective because Darmanitan has 2 abilities. The first is Sheer Force. Sheer Force is just a good ability. It boosts your damage. It's actually a very good ability, okay? The second ability is called Zen Mode, and it's a unique ability, and it's effectively never used, at least in the official competitive format. Not just because Darmanitan is never used in the official competitive format, but Zen Mode basically transforms Darmanitan from this like angry gorilla thing into this, I mean, what I can only describe as a statue. It's
I think he's so silly in his Zen form. It's so funny.
A really weird like looking thing. I really don't get it, but I think it's really cool. And the cool thing about Zen Mode is that when Darmanitan transforms, its stats completely change. It goes from being this like really frail physical attacker to this really bulky and really powerful special attacker. The stats are actually ridiculous. If it could start the battle in Zen Mode, I think that it would be like, it might have been on the best fire types of all time list. The problem with Zen Mode is that you can't start the battle in Zen Mode. You have to lose half your health first. And you might think, oh, like just drop to 50%, like eat a citrus berry, go back up. But the problem is that if you go back over 50%, you go back to like gorilla mode. And so there's basically no way to have this Pokemon be healthy and in Zen mode. So basically Darmanitan has 2 abilities, but Zen mode is kind of like not easily accessible at the very least. Like you can't, there's no good way to actually use it. So it effectively has 1 ability. And Sheer Force is a great ability. And I think part of what makes Darmanitan so strong in single battles is that it does a lot of damage. Like Darmanitan is a fast-ish, but
I don't like Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. It's some fucking freak shit.
Really strong physical attacker who has the really high base power move of Flare Blitz, which gets even further boosted by Sheer Force. Great combo. And I think a big part of the strength of Darmanitan in single battles is the fact that if you knock out your opponent's Pokemon, you don't take any damage that turn, which helps us understand why it's never really been very good in double battles, because in double battles, even if you knock out one of your opponent's Pokemon, you're still going to take an attack from their partner most of the time. Darmanitan is very frail, and Flare Blitz does recoil damage. And so like when you consider that your best move causes you to lose a fair bit of health, and you consider the fact that you're not that bulky to begin with, and you consider the fact that most of the time you're gonna have to take a follow-up attack,
28 months.
It gets kind of dicey kind of quickly. Also, Darmanitan in double battles has to worry about attacking into Protect being used on most Pokemon in the game. And basically, if you attack into Protect, you're probably gonna lose Darmanitan from the partner's attack because again, it's very frail. It's also not that fast. Like it's certainly not a slow Pokemon, but in order to outspeed a lot of the faster end of most formats, you would need to hold the Choice Scarf item, which then limits your move choice and your flexibility and just creates more counterplay. The other thing about Darmanitan in double battles is that the Intimidate ability is quite prevalent. It's very prevalent, in fact. And in single battles, it's not such a big deal because Intimidate just isn't that common. And again, you're only dealing with 1 Pokemon at a time. But in double battles, losing a third of your attacking power is actually a pretty big deal, especially when your Pokemon is already pretty frail. I think Darmanitan is sick, and I really like that there was a brief period where Galarian Darmanitan was pretty good. And I think it's like a really cool.
I love my little snowman guy.
Redesign. I think in general, it's just like a really cool.
I am almost free from the chains of education temporarily.
Pokemon. I like it a lot personally, but it's not very good. Okay, so it's on my list. Which brings us to number 6, and a Pokemon that initially I had much higher on this list because I thought it was worse, but it's actually it's not good, okay, but it saw a little bit of use. Number 6 on our list is
I'm hearing you out.
Turtonator is a really funny Pokemon because it seems fake. It does not seem like a real Pokemon that exists.
He's just a guy.
Like the design to me isn't that memorable. I think it's from a generation that like people aren't as familiar with, and it like never has been good, I think, in most competitive formats. And so like it seems like a fake Pokemon. I think this is like if you were doing one of those like man on the street videos where you're like, name the fake, spot the real Pokemon and spot the fake Pokemon. I think this is one they would have to try and fool people, which is kind of a shame. I mean, I don't like Turtonator that much, but I think there are some things about Turtonator that are cool. Mostly the typing. Turtonator is a fire and dragon type Pokemon, which isn't especially common. There's like Reshiram and Mega Charizard X and probably another 1 or 2 that I'm forgetting about. But for the most part, you don't actually get access to this typing all that much, and the typings complement each other pretty well. Fire is weak to water, which dragon cancels out that weakness, and then dragon is weak to ice and fairy, both of which fire cancels out. Also, the fact that dragon can't hit steel type Pokemon and fire hits steel for super effective. So overall, the synergy is pretty good. There's a couple things holding Turtonator back though. The first is that it only has 1 ability, and I understand why it has.
Prevents a Pokemon from receiving a critical hit, even if they would always receive one, such as from Storm Throw.
This ability, it's shell armor. Turtle with a big shell on its back. Shell armor. I don't need to explain this one, I think. And the second thing is actually the stats, where Turtonator basically, it's very tanky on the physical side, but it actually has relatively low HP. HP is a bit important when you want your Pokemon to survive. Turtonator's special bulk is fine, but nothing to write home.
Yeah, it's just discount Reshiram.
Without its offenses are below average for what you'd want, and it's extremely slow.
That's not
so basically, it has a good
all.
defense stat, but everything else ranges from pretty
is
terrible
just
to just regular like average. And so there's not really a good way for it to contribute to battles because I don't know, it doesn't have the stats to keep up. I think this is a shame as well because Turtonator, like I think that they thought it was going to be better than it is, and so they gave it. I don't know, like they gave it a signature move, and so I'm like, I don't understand why you give this thing a signature move if you don't think it's going to be like at least a little bit used. And the signature move is interesting. It's called
Shell Trap. Set a trap at the beginning of the turn, and if the user is hit by a physical move during this turn, it deals high damage to the opponent. So what if they don't though? What if they just choose not to?
Shell Trap, and it's a 150 base power fire type move. So effectively a fire type Hyper Beam. But the move is really interesting because despite being super strong, it only will activate if your opponent actually hits Turtonator, and not only hits Turtonator, but it has to be a physical move. So using a special move or a status move does not activate.
It does nothing. Oof. Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Shell trap. And so, like, if your opponent doesn't want to get hit by the shell trap, they literally don't have to. They can just not hit Turtonator with physical attacks. And if the trap doesn't go off, you just waste your attack for the turn. So, I mean, it's not a very good move. It is funny, but it's certainly not good. That being said, the reason why Turtonator's not higher up.
It would be funny for people like me who don't know like half of the VGC stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna hit this goddamn Turtonator. This fuck ass guy. And I'm just taking 150. Yeah, I'm good.
List, and the reason why, you know, it's actually relatively, you know, it's in the bottom half, so it's not the worst fire.
It's 5 PP? What?
Type is because there was one period during, I believe, Sword and Shield where Turtonator was usable, not great, but usable. Basically, Sword and Shield introduced a new move called Body Press, which does more damage the higher the user's defense stat is instead of their attack stat. And since Turtonator has such a high base defense stat and gets access to the move Iron Defense, it worked as this kind of setup sweeper where you would use Iron Defense, become incredibly tanky on the physical side, and then use Body Press to do damage. I think it was more of like a gimmicky Pokemon that was used a bit because it was like so unexpected rather than anything else, but it did have a little usage. Not enough to save it from this list, but enough to land it on the bottom half. It's not a good Pokemon, but it's not the worst. It's one of the worst fire type Pokemon of all time for sure, but it's not the worst. Coming in at number 6, we have Oricorio Bile. Oricorio in general is a pretty cool Pokemon. I love
Oricorio. It'd be so cool if they do more regional variants. Oh, you know what? They could do like a regional variant of Oricorio in the Winds and Waves, since it's technically like another like tropical type of region. It'd be cool if they did more versions or variants of Oricorio in different like other dance styles.
A lot of people really like Oricorio. I personally think Oricorio is really cool. And the main reason why Oricorio I think is so popular is because it has a really neat signature ability, and one of the only abilities I think that allows a Pokemon to attack twice in the same turn. Actually, it can attack up to 4 times, I think. Oricorio's signature ability is called Dancer. And basically, if certain moves have dance in the title, I think they all have dance in the title, whenever any Pokemon uses one of these moves, Oricorio will also use this move. So for example, Oricorio paired with Volcarona can use Quiver Dance, and then Oricorio will automatically use Quiver Dance as well. There's 4 different Oricorio forms, and each of the forms is a flying type, but then they have different secondary types, and the Bile form is a fire type Pokemon. Each of the Oricorio forms also learns the move Revelation Dance, which changes type based on the type that they have that's not flying. So in the fire type form, Revelation Dance is a fire type attack. And also what's cool is that if you Terrastalize, then Revelation Dance basically just becomes Terra Blast, but a little bit stronger. It takes the type of the Terra type. So I think it's a pretty cool move. Oricorio has a lot going for it, and I think because of that, they were worried it might be too strong, because Dancer is like, if you think about it, a really broken ability, like being able to attack twice in the same turn, potentially up to 4 times if your opponent also uses dancing moves.
If I'm remembering correctly, there was a Rogue one we did, Rogue run we did on stream where there was an Oricorio doing that, and I was just like, what is happening? What the fuck?
Is like probably a little bit overpowered, and if Oricorio were good, then you would have the Oricorio forms like using each other's dancer moves. Like your Oricorio would Revelation Dance, and then that would trigger your opponent's dancer, and then they would also Revelation Dance. Like you can see how this get a little bit out of hand. And so the main weakness of Oricorio, and the reason why it's not very good, is the fact that its stats are just abysmal. And I don't disagree with this. Like I understand why they made the stats so bad, but Oricorio doesn't really have a single good stat. They're not awful. Like they're not so bad that you would never see Oricorio used. Like occasionally you'll see people kind of building theme teams or more gimmicky teams built around Oricorio, but I think in this case the Pokemon Company played it pretty safe and said, you know what, this seems really powerful. Like we like the concept, we like the design, we like kind of this signature theming, but we don't want it to be that broken. And so they tuned the power down probably to a level where they were sure it wasn't going to be good, and they succeeded. It's not good, but I think it's actually okay for a Pokemon like Oricorio. Like I think it would be bad if this thing were one of the best Pokemon in the game, or even if there were formats where it could kind of threaten to take over. And so I think that in many ways this is actually like, it is one of the worst fire type Pokemon competitively, but at the same time I think it's kind of a big success because they got the really cool designs, they got the cool like unique ability and kind of this like new interaction.
Wasn't the yellow one at some point competitive? I could have sworn a while ago I remember seeing some like teams with the yellow one, the cheerleading
They
one.
did it without ruining the competitive game. So actually, Oricorio, you are one of the worst fire types, but you get a big thumbs up from me. Good job. Okay, coming in.
Okay, I'm talking about VGC.
Number 5 is a Pokemon that many of you expected to see on this list, but you probably thought it would be higher up. It's Simisear. The elemental monkey.
Oh my god. I used Pom Pom Oricorio on one of my Alola teams. Did you know the Pokemon universe, the letter R can also represent the number 9, but not the other way around? Because 9 can't R, but R can. Ah! What is that comment? Okay. Someone used Oricorios in a tournament in Scarlet and Violet and did pretty well. That's probably where I've seen it.
These from Gen 5, I think, are some of the most popular Pokemon to hate on. They're very easy targets.
Yeah, the elemental monkeys from Gen 5 are never gonna stop catching strays. I kind of feel bad now.
It's mostly because they suck. The designs are not especially inspired, in my opinion. They're not very good Pokemon. None of them are very good Pokemon, in fact. And they're from a generation that received a lot of hate at the time. And also they're just like given to the player during the story in a way that like it works with starter Pokemon, but I think because the monkeys aren't very exciting, people just don't like the monkeys. There's probably other reasons too. And Simisear, to be clear, is definitely one of the worst fire type Pokemon of all time. First, it has no secondary type. So what you see is what you get.
They're so bad and uncool. Okay, they're bad, but I wouldn't say they're uncool. I mean, I like them. They're just little monkey guys. They're just the guys. Why did they make it? Did they make it into champions? I had no idea. Even Japan doesn't like Simisear. Wait, what makes you say that? Why does Japan not like Simisear? Yes, they are in champions. I can't recall seeing them. There was a poll. They did a poll a couple years back, like specifically on like the elemental monkeys or like the most hated Pokemon was Simisear. Oh wait, that actually makes me so sad. Man, now I'm gonna like Simisear just because I feel bad.
Fire type, and like sometimes it is good to be a pure type. Like there are situations where it is good, scenarios where it is good, but typically having an extra type gives you access to more resistances. Sometimes it means more weaknesses too, but also different coverage moves and more moves that you have access to. Simisear is a Pokemon that does not learn very many good moves. In fact, it learns so few moves that some of the best coverage moves it gets are like Grass Knot, which isn't terrible, but it's not good. Sometimes Pokemon are good even when their move pool is kind of shallow though, so it's not such a big deal, but the main problem with Simisear,
Regieleki is so silly.
in my opinion, is that the stats are just awful. Like this is a Pokemon clearly designed to get you through the early game of an in-game playthrough, but not to get you much further than that, I think. The only redeeming factor it has is that it's decently fast, and none of its stats are like in a vacuum so terrible. Both the defense and the special defense are a bit low, but they're not like, you know, paper thin like Kartana's, you know, special defense. They're bad, but they're not awful, if that makes sense. The HP is the same thing. It's not great. It's certainly not terrible though. But the problem is that it doesn't have a good offensive stat. Both its attack and special attack are relatively low for what you want from a damaging Pokemon. And when you put all this together, you get a Pokemon that like its only redeeming quality is its speed, but it doesn't really have the move pool to take advantage of that speed or the stats to take advantage of that speed. And it's also not that fast in the first place. So it's a bit lackluster to say the least. The reason why I don't have Simisear lower on this list is primarily because it gets access to the move Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot allows you to double your special attack the first time you use it, and then you can use it even more to boost up even further. And it also gets access to the spread move Heat Wave. And so when I was thinking about how to rank some of these Pokemon that have no results, I kind of put myself in the shoes of how easy would it be to actually use this Pokemon and have it contribute something. Since none of the Pokemon on the list at this point have any results, like, I mean, they're all pretty bad. I thought that for Simisear, the fact that it has a set that I could see being viable in the right circumstances, viable being used very, very generously here to be clear, that was enough for me to say, you know what, I think it should be higher on the list. That being said, this is an awful Pokemon. We are in real bad territory at this point, and I do not recommend you use this Pokemon if you want to win. It's pretty bad, but it's technically, I could think of something for it to do, which is not the case for a lot of the Pokemon remaining on this list.
That's
okay. We're on to number 4. This is one I'm very nervous about, so please be nice to me. I'm very sorry in advance. Number 4 is Flareon, and I.
No! I am in shambles! My favorite evolution is Flareon. I love this goddamn Pokemon so much. I'm so sad. Oh my god. Yeah, Flareon needed some fixing, man. Game Freak, please make Flareon better, alright? Please! I love this goddamn Pokemon. I know he's talking about it competitively. I know he's not gonna diss on the design or anything like that, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that this makes me sad. I will say, there was like a cool Flareon deck in the TCG for a while. I kind of wish I built it, but Flareon at the time was really expensive. It was like $15 a Flareon at some point. But I'm so sad it's not that great anymore. And I really wish that I played it when it was great. It was like Flareon box. And if I'm remembering correctly, it lets you like attack or attach like energy and stuff. And I think it's really fun. And it was like an Eevee box. So it had some of the evolutions. Like some decks played the Sylveon and then some decks played the Leafeon. And it was super duper fun. Oh, I didn't get a chance to utilize it. And I wish I did.
Like Flareon, okay? I think it's...
Oh, wait. Why is my sound not working? There we go.
I think it's an...
Wait, what the heck? Oh, there we go. My headphones turned off.
Incredible Pokemon from a design perspective. I think it's iconic. It evolves from Eevee. We all like Flareon, right? Everybody likes Flareon, right? We're not saying anything.
Wolfie loves Flareon. Okay. All right. Yeah, Terra Flareon EX, the Flareon box.
Bad about Flareon from a moral standpoint. When it comes to evolutions, though, Flareon is kind of clearly the worst in terms of competitive Pokemon. Okay, that's all I'm talking about here. Flareon in some ways has similar problems to Simisear. I feel like whenever Pokemon are introduced as part of a trio, they tend to be really stingy with the move pools. Like, you don't want to be giving your fire type Pokemon too many grass or water type moves because then like you wouldn't use the other members of the trio, right? Maybe this is just like something I've noticed and maybe it's not real, but I feel like generally the trios tend to be like limited in move pool. Flareon's move pool is actually, I think, even worse than Simisear.
You think Flareon's better than Simisear? Man, but he put it lower than Simisear.
It learns effectively 0 useful coverage moves. Like it gets fire moves and it gets a couple normal moves which are usable, but like that's kind of it, except for some very niche situations. And on top of having a really shallow move pool, Flareon stats are also, I mean, let's be honest, they look like a Generation 1 Pokemon, right? These are like, this is before power. This is like.
Is there a person that does not like Eevee and its evolutions? I know someone. I know someone that's like, Eevee and their evolutions are so overrated. I hope you have a warm pillow every single night when you go to bed, and every single time you try to flip the pillow over to lay on the cool side, it just progressively gets warmer. That's how I feel about you.
3 power creep.
That sounded very, very aggressive.
This is the first generation. They weren't all designed to be, you know, competitively viable. I don't think that's a bad thing, but you really notice that with Flareon. To Flareon's credit, it has pretty decent special bulk. The HP is pretty low, but the special bulk is, especially for a Generation 1 Pokemon, pretty high. And to Flareon's credit, it has a really good base attack stat for the time. 130 base attack. That's actually really good. The problem is the other stats. The defense is pretty low, to say the least. It's not a good defense stat, and given the HP is also pretty low, it means that Flareon's pretty frail, and it's also really slow. Like, and it's also not so slow that you can justify using.
Listen, man, all the fur on Flareon makes it hard for Flareon to be fast, all right?
It inside of Trick Room. It's in that horrible middle ground where it's too slow to be used outside of Trick Room and too fast to be used inside. And when you kind of combine the stat issues with the fact that the move is pretty lacking, you run into some problems. That being said, Flareon does have one redeeming trait, and if you were going to try to use it, I think this is what you'd have to build around, which is that while its base ability is not very good, it's Flash Fire, similar issue to we had with Houndoom, where it's just not a bulky enough Pokemon to really take advantage of this. Its hidden ability is Guts, and Guts is actually a pretty good ability because it gives you a 50% attack boost if you're affected by a status condition. The problem is that the best way to activate Guts is with the Flame Orb item, which burns the holder and causes them to take, you know, damage every turn. The other option is the Toxic Orb, which affects the user with Badly Poison, which is a poison that increases the damage at the end of every single turn. Burn is much preferable because when you have the Guts ability, you're not affected by the attack dropping effect of Burn. So effectively, you're just giving up 1/16 of your health every turn for a 50% boost in power. Pretty significant, right? But the problem is because Flareon's a fire type,
it can't get burned.
Pokemon, you can't burn it. Like the Flame Orb won't activate, and so you need to use the Toxic Orb, which means Flareon, which is already quite frail by the way, has to instead like lose even more HP compared to Burn. It's just terrible. It's awful. I think that if you wanted to use Flareon, you'd want to use it in a format with Terrestrialization, and you'd probably want to use like Terra Normal Facade, and that way you could Terra to Normal and hold the Flame Orb item and just let yourself get burnt. It's not a good strategy, but you could do it. It's the only thing I could think of when it comes to Flareon. Anyway, I really do like Flareon as a Pokemon. I think it's super cute. I like that it's so fluffy. Like I like it a lot in general, but I don't like the idea of having to use it because every one of the other evolutions has something going for it that like makes it somewhat viable in the right context. And in fact, I've used many evolutions at different points over the course of my career, but Flareon is the one that it's so difficult. It's even worse than Glaceon. Okay, before we get into the top 3 worst fire-type Pokemon of all time, we have a couple dishonorable mentions. These are Pokemon that like initially I thought might be on the list, but in doing some research, I realized that they definitely don't belong here, but I think they're still fun to talk about. First of all, Moltres. Moltres is obviously a legendary Pokemon, but it's not really that good in most formats, and we're talking specifically about Kanto Moltres, not Galarian Moltres. That being said, there was a period where Moltres was actually not popular and not like
most of the, or maybe not most, but like the Cantonian birds kind of buns, but then the Galarian versions were like pretty okay.
Good, but usable, and it even got...
Yeah, at least Flareon didn't make top 3, all right? At least there was a sort of way to make Flareon work.
Top 4 at an international level event, which is a huge tournament, the second highest level, only behind the World Championships, so I definitely couldn't put it on this list given that. Castform Sunny Form, I thought about putting on this list, but it seems stupid to put a Pokemon who's like, was only fire type when it changed form. Like, Castform's not a pure fire type, it's not really a fire type Pokemon, it's a normal type that can temporarily become a fire type Pokemon. So even though it's a really bad Pokemon, I didn't think that it was a fire type enough to be on this list. Pyroar. Many people probably don't know about Pyroar because it's not very popular, but Pyroar is a Pokemon that it's not very good, and if you tried to use it nowadays, it would be pretty difficult. But it was actually used a decent bit back in 2014. That was a really slow format, and because it was a normal type and pretty fast, it was able to use Hyper Voice and do tons of damage. It also gets the Rivalry ability, which is a weird ability that gives you a power boost if the opponent is the same gender as you. And at the time,
oh, that's funny.
The most used Mega Evolution was Mega Kangaskhan, who's always female. And so actually Rivalry Pyroar was able to do so much damage with the high base power of Overheat that it could actually deal, I think with Mega Kangaskhan, maybe with like a Life Orb or something, but yeah, it could do a ton of damage. And so it was used a little bit during 2014, and so I didn't think that I could put it here. Initially I had Camerupt on this list because, I mean, it doesn't seem like a very good Pokemon, but Mega Camerupt was actually used a little bit in the 2018 format, which was the second year of Ultra Sun and the first year of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, second year of Generation 7. It actually has, I think, out of everything I've mentioned so far, the most usage and the most success. So it's actually a
Screw you, Pyroar, for Wild Zone 17 alone. And you know what? I agree. Wild Zone 17 is probably the scariest zone in the goddamn game.
Not a great Pokemon, but it has enough results that I certainly couldn't put it on this list. And then last but not least, Emboar, one of the least popular fire starters of all time. One of my personal favorites. I left Emboar off this list specifically because my first ever regional tournament, which kind of kickstarted my whole career, I won with Emboar. And so I like it for that reason. And I also got top 8 at the World Championships with Emboar as well. They are making a new Emboar form, and I'm a big Emboar fan in Legends ZA. And so I hope that Emboar will be good, but I don't have high hopes for it. But you never know, maybe. Okay, now we're into the top 3. So these are like the really bad fire types at this point. And number 3, I think, is another one that's going to make people mad at me. It's Rapidash. Rapidash is so cool from a design angle. I think that like the shot of Rapidash in the first opening, you know what I'm talking about in the anime opening? Don't play the song, we'll get in trouble, but maybe you can show the visuals. Like, I don't know, like Ash riding on the flaming horse. I feel like that's got to have been at least a little bit of a factor in Pokemon success. Maybe, you know, like not a lot, but a little bit, right? I mean, it's so cool. It's a unicorn that's on fire. Like, I mean, that's awesome, right? The problem is that's pretty much the only good thing I can say about Rapidash. Like many of the Pokemon on our list, Rapidash is held back mostly by its stats. Like, it has other weaknesses as well, but the stats are not helping. It was certainly a fast Pokemon for the time it was released, but other than that, I can't really say anything good about its stats. Rapidash in many ways is basically just Simisear. Like, it has a high base speed, its other stats are all pretty bad across the board, it can't really do any damage, and its move pool sucks, okay? On top of that, similar to Simisear, which I didn't even mention this with Simisear, but like Rapidash's abilities are turbo bad. It gets the ability Runaway, which doesn't work in trainer battles, which is all of competitive Pokemon. Flash Fire, which we've talked about a couple times. I don't even think Flash Fire is a bad ability, but I feel like you would not get that impression if you watch this video. And then it gets Flame Body, which is a good ability, but it's better the tankier the user is, and because Rapidash isn't very tanky, it's not very good. The only good thing I can say about Rapidash is that it's a horse, and that means that it gets access to
Sorry. Haru Urara in a Wolfie video? We're so back.
the move High Horsepower, which is actually a pretty good ground type attack. And so it has like a good coverage move, and Rapidash is a physical attacker, so it can actually use ground type attacks, and it gets a couple other useful moves as well, but the stats are just so bad that it's really, you really can't ever justify it.
Hi, bestie.
The thing that makes me angriest about Rapidash is Galarian Rapidash.
All right, listen, we are not throwing any hate on Galarian Rapidash, all right? I love that goddamn Pokemon.
They created a whole new Rapidash form, which to me is an opportunity to actually try and make the Pokemon like somewhat viable, and Galarian Rapidash is equally as bad, if not worse. No! So yeah, bad job on that one, Pokemon. I'm pissed about that one. Anyway, I've forced on Rapidash enough. Now it's time to talk about the 2 worst fire type Pokemon of all time. Coming in at number 2 is Macargo. What does Macargo evolve from again? Can someone let me know?
Do not, chat. I'm going to crash out. Do not answer that goddamn question. Please don't. going to crash out. Hi, Missy. Hope you and chat have been well. I love watching. Dude, I love his videos too.
The comments, like, I can't remember.
I'm not answering that goddamn question. You guys know
The name of it. Anyway, Macargo.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad things about Macargo. First of all,
just wrap it up. We all know it's ass.
unlike several of our past entries, Macargo.
You don't need to explain. It's just buns.
It was a dual type, but it's one of the dual types that makes it actually worse than being a pure fire type Pokemon. Macargo is fire and rock type, which is undoubtedly one of the worst type combinations in the game. The problem is that you have a quadruple weakness to both water and ground, and having even one quadruple weakness is like, I mean, it can be really bad, but having two and having them be common types, that's a big problem. It's also weak to both fighting and rock, which like these are all relatively common types in the competitive game. Fire and rock also just don't really complement each other that well, in my opinion. Like, I guess fire hits the steel types that rock can't hit, but like,
I mean,
there's not that much good overlap here. The big issue with Macargo, though, is as with many of these Pokemon, is the
I
stats
saved my
are just
streak the other day by watching the clip of you falling for the D's nuts joke. Listen, man, I thought I was really good at catching those jokes. All right, I thought I was really good at catching those jokes, but the last stream convinced me that I was wrong.
terrible. The biggest issue is the speed. Macargo is one of the slowest Pokemon in the game. It hits the 30 speed stat, which very few Pokemon get below. That's the same speed stat.
Okay, listen, 6'7" is a whole different other ball field of jokes.
As Amoonguss, and Amoonguss is obviously notorious for being one of the slowest Pokemon in the game. And the issue is that it can't do anything with it with this low speed stat.
It's
like
so
sometimes you have really slow Pokemon like Amoonguss who can, use 4 to put your opponents out of commission. Can use Pollen Puff to heal your team. Can use Rage Powder to keep your team safe. Macargo has nothing. Like it really can't do much. It is decently tanky. It has a really good base defense stat and a usable special defense stat. Not a good one, but it's not terrible. But the problem is it has really low HP. It has such low HP, in fact, that it kind of cancels out the fact that it has a decent defense stat if it wasn't already canceled out due to the fact that it has 2 quadruple weaknesses. That being said, sometimes Pokemon that are really slow can afford to have like kind of suspect defense stats if they're really strong. Because if a Pokemon is strong enough, then you can get it inside of Trick Room and then have it do tons of damage, and it doesn't really matter that it's like taking more damage because it's just going to KO everything before they can attack anyway. So what Macargo's offense is looking like?
Pokemon 316 is, you know what? I will entertain you just this once. All right, I will entertain you this once. Anyways.
Some of the worst on this entire list. It has a terrible, and I'm gonna say it, it's an unusable attack stat. And its special attack, it would be usable on a Pokemon like Amoonguss.
Stop! Why are you guys? Oh my god, why? Stop! I'm not saying the goddamn Pokemon's name. Also, I'm not saying Pokemon 519. No. Vortoxy, thank you for the follow. Hi. It was so nice meeting you at Regionals. Chat, we got her. I hate all of you. Platonically. Why did they bring it to Gen 9 when their 2 stage lines are better like Steelix? No, I'm gonna stop giving me fucking Pokedex numbers. Pokemon 6-7 is Machoke. Yeah. I bet it is.
Or another supporting Pokemon, but on a Pokemon that can't actually support its team, it's not good. Macargo has one of the worst stat distributions across any Pokemon ever. Sometimes Pokemon like this can be saved by their abilities, and while Macargo has it has Flame Body, which as we talked about can be good, and it is physically bulky, so it can actually use Flame Body. The other abilities are not amazing. It has Magma Armor, which prevents it from being frozen. This is mostly useless because like you can use a fire type move from behind freeze, some of them at least, and thaw yourself. It also gets Weak Armor, which makes it faster but frailer, which is not, it doesn't make it faster or frailer enough to actually make Macargo go
It's already slow as shit. Doesn't matter. I bet with like even the freaking ability, it's still gonna be slow as shit.
Fast enough, so effectively this just makes you worse. So really Flame Body is the only option, which is fine, but it's mostly useful for hatching eggs and not for using Macargo.
Can I be real? That's the only reason why I know what Flame Body is because I fucking Masuda method into shit. 1 weak armor makes his speed 45. 45 speed. I'm so scared.
I will say Macargo's move pool is not so terrible. It's certainly not good, but it's not it's not awful. It gets Recover, it gets Amnesia, it gets Toxic, it gets Will-O-Wisp, or it used to get Toxic at least. There are some moves that it can learn, but the real thing is that it doesn't get any super broken moves. Like, yeah, there is stuff that it can do, but like not enough to justify.
I did not realize Shiny Macargo was pink. I'm so fake.
By using Macargo. I do think it's a really funny Pokemon, and I do like...
God, oh my God, I'm trying to remember. There was a Macargo deck in like Sun and Moon. I have to look this up. Sorry, chat. I'm looking this up on my phone. There was a Macargo deck in Sun and Moon. I remember when I was playing around that time, there was someone at my locals who ran this list, and I was like, I am going to avoid this person at all costs. Let me find it. Was it Smooth Over? Was it Smooth Over? Oh, yeah, it was Smooth Over. So they would stack something on top of the deck, and then they did something with it. I cannot remember what deck it was, but I remember I would run into this guy, and I was like, I do not want to deal with this right now. Did he stink? Probably. Probably. I will say my locals have been pretty okay with not stinking. I will say now that it's summer, that might be an issue.
The design. I also feel like I always argue with people about whether or not Macargo is a horse. It is a horse, if you're wondering.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
The design. I also feel like I always argue with people about whether or not Macargo is a horse. It is a horse.
How many pults at locals, though? I don't want to think about it. All right. I'm judging a cut this weekend, and I will give you guys an update on how many pults show up to my cup. It'll be great.
If you're wondering. But there's almost no fire-type Pokemon that are worse than it. And I say almost, because it's time to talk about the #1 slots. The absolute worst fire-type Pokemon of all time is Heatmor. My guess is many of you forgot about Heatmor. Let me know in the comments if you forgot that Heatmor was a Pokemon.
I'm raising my head because I forgot.
Curious. Where do I...
It's because Macargo Fast. Next, locals take a picture with every person's butt crack. I don't want anybody's butt cracks on my phone.
I even begin when I talk about Heatmor. I mean,
it happens though. So we share a local spot with Magic, and they're more prone to having their butt cracks out. All right.
This thing is not good. First of all, pure fire type Pokemon, technically better than being fire and rock type like Macargo, but still not good. You'd rather have a useful dual type. Second of all, the stats. Okay, the stats are actually. I mean, I've been looking at some really bad stats over the course of this video. They're not the worst.
No, I'm not taking pictures of people's butt cracks at locals. I'm good.
Like, we have seen worse, but it's a similar problem to many Pokemon in this video where
I'm still in shambles that Flareon is on this list, but you know, I get it.
While none of the stats on their own are so bad that they're unusable, none of them are good. And you have to be able to do something with your stats. Heatmor also has like really low defense stats for what it is. You would think a Pokemon that's this slow and this weak would have decent defense.
If you have gone to a locals before, you would know that if you look at any direction, there's someone's butt crack there. Like, it's against my will, all right? Listen, when you're in a room with like 40 TCG players, does not matter where you look. It's there, all right?
But no, its defenses are actually solidly mediocre. Like, even, they're bad. The mediocre is being too nice. They're bad. The HP is fine, but not good enough to compensate for the fact that their defenses are so low. The biggest issue with Heatmor, though, is that there's nothing for it to do. Like, the move pool's bad, stats are bad, and the abilities are also bad. Heatmor has 3 abilities. Okay. And one of them is Flash Fire, okay? And that's probably the best of the 3. It gets Gluttony, not super useful except in niche situations, and White Smoke, which, I mean, can be useful, but not really on Heatmor. I guess Flash Fire might be an ability they give to the bad Pokemon. I don't think that Flash Fire itself is a bad ability, but I think if they think a Pokemon's gonna be bad, they're like, give it Flash Fire. That's my new conspiracy theory. Anyway, Heatmor's moves are awful. Like, they're not terrible, I guess, but they're certainly not good. Like, I'm looking through them now, and like, there's nothing for it to do. It doesn't get any, like, there's nothing. I can't, like, I mean, you can Will-O-Wisp stuff by being a fire type. It gets a couple decent physical attacks, like Knock Off and Low Kick, but like, why are you using Knock Off, Low Kick, Heatmor? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't get Sucker Punch. That's the one redeeming thing I can see out of this thing. But no, like, honestly, out of all the Pokemon on this list, I think that I would personally have the hardest time using Heatmor. Even Macargo, you could do some kind of setup thing like Iron Defense, or I don't think it's Iron Defense, Acid Armor, Amnesia, Recover. Maybe you run Curse Recover. It would be easier with Terastallization. With Heatmor, I'm like, I don't know, like, nothing you do is going to make this Pokemon feel good. It doesn't have enough good supporting moves to justify using it. It doesn't have enough offensive stats to justify using it. It doesn't have a good enough, like, broken offensive moves to justify using it.
He's just bad. He's just bad.
It doesn't have any good abilities. Like, I can't say anything good about it. I do like Heatmor from a lore perspective because I think it's really funny. They made a fire anteater Pokemon to eat the bug and steel ant Pokemon. I think that's really cool. And that's the only good thing I can say about Heatmore. A lot of the Pokemon on this list, I'm like, I don't really hate them. Like, you know, like they're bad Pokemon, but I like them anyway. Heatmore, I think I actually dislike because it's so bad. Like I'm really trying to find anything good to point out about this Pokemon, but like I literally see nothing. I will say one good thing about Heatmore, which is that I could see a world where they give Heatmore an evolution in the future. Not because it's a popular Pokemon, they probably won't do it, but because like when you're giving a Pokemon an evolution, you need to make sure that the
I will, because if they were to give more Pokemon more evolutions, wouldn't they pick the more popular ones? Because I'm gonna be real, I haven't heard anybody say Heatmore's their favorite.
The evolution won't be broken.
I mean, I believe there are people out there that are like, Heatmore's my favorite, but it's definitely not a significant amount of people.
If you give it the Eviolite item, and I think that Heatmore is so bad that even if you increase both its defenses by 50%, it would still be pretty worthless. So I don't know. I think I'm holding out for like Mega Heatmore or, you know, super evolved Heatmore or something. Then I would be interested in it. Maybe make it a dual type. But yeah, for now, Heatmore is the #1 worst fire type Pokemon of all time. Thanks for watching. This is a new series, so if you have feedback, let me know in the comments below. I do try to read every comment. And if watching me kind of talk smack about all these fire type Pokemon has made you want to know what the good fire type Pokemon are, I actually a long time ago made a video titled "What is the best fire type Pokemon?" which similar vibe to this, but we actually get to talk about good Pokemon. You should check it out.
I think he should like kind of maybe redo parts of the series every few years, because you know how like Pokemon meta is always shifting. Like Pokemon that used to be really good back then are now like actually really bad. I think it'd be cool if we were to do that. Someone in chat had asked what was my worst experience as a Pokemon judge. There is only one experience or a situation I can think of. And I had a player where he was blaming me. It was on a cup a few months ago. It was like 6 months ago. He was blaming me for basically, he said that because I had ruled another person's game a certain way, it pressured him into playing a certain way that would make it so that I wouldn't give him the same ruling. And I was like, what? Yeah. This was top cut. I was judging, I believe it was a top 8 match. Yes, it was top 8. So I had there was a match that went into, I guess, it went into overtime. The +3 turns happened. And it was a sudden death situation where during the last turn, someone had Dusknored. And so Dusknoir, when you use Dusknoir, you basically make your opponent take a prize card because you're killing the Dusknoir in exchange for you putting 13 damage counter somewhere. So you could make it so that you kill both of you and your opponent's Pokemon at the same time. So that's what happened, right? So in this case, they overheard me giving this ruling, and so I was like, all right, because both of you basically ended the game at the same time and there was no determined winner, you guys are gonna have to go into sudden death. You guys are gonna set up your 6 prize cards, and the first person to take a prize card wins. That's it. So a player overheard this happen, and into the next round had a similar situation, but it wasn't like the exact situation because they didn't like kill each other at the same time. It was like +3 turns had happened already, so now it comes to the point where there's still prize cards on both player sides. So now the ruling becomes, all right, the first player to take a prize card wins the game. And this is top cut, so there's no ties at this point. There has to be a winner. And he ends up losing, right? And then he proceeds to start arguing with me after the round. And it's like, well, because you made this ruling with the other people, that I thought that I could play out the same way, and you know, I would have played differently. And I'm like, brother, your situation versus theirs was so different. Like, it's not the same thing. I need you to understand that the only reason why they went to sudden death is because they basically took prize cards at the same time. So this guy starts arguing with me, all right, for 30 minutes. And I was like, Did you say you're bad? He didn't trust my ruling. Mind you. I have been a judge now for 3 years at this point. Okay, I am the current, like, I am the longest running judge, like, in Atlantis. Okay, so most people, I think, respect me when it comes to judging. But this person, I don't know, this person has always had some sort of issue with me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is with them. I don't want to say it's because I'm a girl. I just don't think this person likes me, which is fine. I don't care. Like, you don't have to like me. But here's the thing. When I'm making a ruling and stuff, you have to respect my ruling. And I told him straight up. I was like, if you have a problem with this ruling, go send Pokemon a support ticket then. Go send it. Because I promise you, this is how it's supposed to go. And it got so bad, all right? It got so bad that my poor tournament organizer, the store manager, was literally like, dude, please, first of all, stop. If I give you this, like, gift card or whatever, because at the time, my LGS was my LGS had like these gift cards. He was just like, dude, just take this gift card and fucking leave. He takes the gift card and leaves. And I haven't seen him pull up to a cup where I judge since. Because I think maybe he understood that him acting like that in front of 15 other people was really embarrassing. Like, I get it. You know, sometimes you can really beat yourself up and you might misunderstand things. But it's, fuck this guy. Like, literally. Exactly. Yeah. Damn, I would have argued with you if you're level 2 judge. What? Listen, man. I should have probably kicked him out sooner than I probably should have, because I have that power at my LGS. I'm allowed to kick people out if they're being disrespectful or whatever, but I'm also the type of person that's like, listen, we can talk like adults, all right? We can sit down and have an adult conversation, but this person didn't want to have an adult conversation. They literally just wanted to argue. And I'm standing there like, all right, if you don't like this, go put a support ticket then. But I'm very confident that the rulings I made for this match and your match was the correct rulings. And you can back me up. Yeah, you have a skill issue, don't take a blood. Like, listen, why, first of all, why are you, like, my thing is, like, why are you listening in on another match and, like, trying to base off how you play versus, like, based off of someone else's match? You should be focused on winning your match, all right? But yeah, whatever. I don't talk to this guy. I saw him at regionals last weekend. I walked past him. I think he saw me and was gonna say something, but I was like, nope. Not dealing with your ass today. I'm not, no. Listen, I can be very cordial. Even if I don't like you, I will be very cordial, and I will still treat you with respect, even if you don't treat me with that same way, with that same respect. But I feel like the only time I will start matching your energy is if you start coming, like, attacking me personally. That's when I'll be like, hey man, listen, relax. Seem like a case of rule sharking. And that's the thing, it's like people complain about rule sharking and stuff, and I get it, but at the same time, it's just a thing that happens in competitive communities, right? It's not just a Pokemon thing. You see rule sharking all across TCG communities. You see it in Yu-Gi-Oh! You see it in Magic. You see it a lot in One Piece as well. It's in every single TCG community. So I think instead of, like, telling people to stop rule sharking, which I think is absolutely true, if you're a rule sharker, maybe relax. But at the same time, I feel like you also have to know how to handle it, because it's going to happen regardless, right? I've been rule sharked multiple times at regional level events, and it's really annoying, but you also have to know how to handle yourself in those situations, because there was one situation at a regional, I wasn't even in, like, top tables for this regional. I was maybe in, like, the 400s, 500s, okay? And this was at this point, I think people were, like, confirming their day 2s, and at this point, I was just like, I'm just coming to play. And this guy was rule sharking me. He, like, sweared to God that I had drawn an extra card off of an ability. And I'm like, brother, I literally used this ability, like, 2 actions ago. How are you saying I drew it now? And I even showed, like, the judge. I'm like, listen, I have ability markers every single time I use my abilities, so I know what I used, okay? But this guy was literally, like, telling the judge like, no, she drew the extra card. And I'm a really clean player, all right? I'm really like very careful. When I draw my cards in all the games, I actually draw it on the mat before it reaches my hand. So that way, if I do end up drawing an extra card, right, at least I didn't see it and it's reversible. But this guy was like, and at this point, he was already in a losing position because I had one game won, okay? I had one game won already. So he was like telling the judge, and I told the judge, I looked at them straight in the eyes and I was just like, I did not draw the extra card, and I have the ability markers to prove it. So they ended up ruling it as like, well, we can't confirm whether or not. And they were asking like the players around us, and they're kind of sitting there like, oh, we didn't really see. So they were just like, we cannot confirm this, so we're just gonna move forward. And he was really mad. And then he ended up stalling the rest of the match, which I thought was stupid because I won game 1. So if we didn't conclude game 2, I would still end up winning the set, which I ended up doing. So people like that are so annoying. Oh no, they absolutely are. Absolutely are. And you know, there's still people out there like that, but I've also come to the point now where it is what it is. What an idiot. No, for real. Like, I won't say that to his face, but this guy was an idiot. So, yeah. Oh, whatever. It's fine. I'm hoping that this person isn't like that anymore. That is dead sea salty. No, for real. But, yeah. Next time this happens, tell him if I have to cheat to beat you, I should quit right now. No, I have that philosophy. It's like, if you have to cheat to win a game, you're ass. Like, you're just bad at the game. You're just really bad at the game. Anywho. But yeah, judge story. Judge story. I guess judge and regional story. I don't know. I am at this point now where do I want to build Dragapult again? I like Dragapult a lot. It's a fun deck, but at the same time, I'm also like, can we play something else? Can we play something else? I can tell you're a great judge by what you're saying. Thank you. I would like to think I'm an experienced judge, and then I know how to handle situations. It's also because I've worked in like customer service and stuff that I've had my fair share of dealing with difficult people, like within work and stuff like that. So whenever these type of situations happen, I can handle it pretty okay. Which I think a lot of if I had criticisms for other judges, I noticed that some like judges, especially like the ones I like work with in town, or maybe not work with, but like I see people in town. I think at this point I'd love to be like a mentor because I've been so seasoned already in the judging experience. But I think one of the most important skills as a Pokemon judge, not even just for TCG, but in general, is being able to handle situations where adults are mad at each other, and how you carry yourself in those situations, right? Because I've seen one too many judges get too like angry because another player's upset with them, and then it makes them look bad too, right? I've seen it happen way too many times. Like, I had a judge here in Atlantis, and they actually ended up quitting judging because of this, where they were judging a challenge, and they were getting really aggressive with a player because a player was really upset with them. And here's the thing, players are always going to be upset at you, right? If you make a ruling that they don't like, even if it's the correct ruling, if they don't like it, they're going to get upset. But it's up to you with how you carry yourself, and you have to just stand your ground and be like, listen, I understand you're upset, and that's fine. I would be upset if maybe I was in your shoes too. But you need to understand that this is the ruling that I had given. And if you have an issue with it, you're more than welcome to put a support ticket, or we can have a conversation after the tournament. But this is the ruling I'm going with. But I've seen way too many judges, they either one, don't stand their ground and become pushovers, or two, they go the opposite direction and they get really upset and, you know, and get aggressive. And that's not okay. You have to be professional. Like, I think that's what a lot of people forget sometimes, is that, like, maybe not a lot of judges. I think a majority of Pokemon judges are great. They really know what they're doing. But there's also the people I've seen who are newer judges, or they just don't have, like, people experience where they really fall through with that skill. What are we talking about? We're talking about Pokemon judging with that skill. They have to realize that it's a professional thing. You have to present yourself professionally and carry yourself that way. Like, there are times where I'm judging and, you know, people get mad at me and all I want to do is yell at them back and tell them, like, no, you're fucking wrong, you piece of shit. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've wanted to do that, but I know I can't, right? Because I, as a judge, or any judge, you're representing Pokemon. Like, you're representing the company. So if you're acting out, it's making everyone else look bad. So, yeah. That wouldn't be professional, no. And I think a lot of people forget that. You have to carry yourself professionally. You can kick, doesn't it say in the judge book? You can kick them in the nuts. You know, if it did, I would have kicked a lot of people's nuts, but no, unfortunately it doesn't. I love you. Thanks. Sorry, I'm not good at taking compliments. Anyway. Oh boy. We are back. Another Wolfie video. I hate these Pokemon. Here's why. Some of my favorite Pokemon better not be in this video or I will full-blown crash out. Swear. I hate these Pokemon and here's why. By Wolfie VGC.
Every Pokemon is somebody's favorite. And one Pokemon is my least favorite. Most Pokemon
Bruxish
are friends. Some
I love Screamtail, by the way.
Are my enemy. Right now, I'm actually preparing for the 2024 Pokemon World Championships. I actually leave tomorrow. And there's one Pokemon that I really, really don't want to play against.
No!
Jumpluff. I've spent the last 2 weeks pretty much just complaining to my friends about how much I hate Jumpluff. Except I realized I don't actually hate it. Yes, it's annoying to play against, and my team has a bad matchup against it, but I don't feel any animosity towards Jumpluff. Maybe we could even be friends in a couple of years. But that's not the case for every Pokemon. Some Pokemon I would fight on sight if I ever saw them. And realize
Jumpluff is one of those Pokemon? What crimes did Jumpluff commit?
Hello? I didn't actually hate Jumpluff made me realize that there are some Pokemon that I really do hate. So let's talk about my 10 most hated Pokemon, starting out with Lycanroc Midnight. This
of course, Lycanroc, but
might seem like a weird Pokemon to hate. I mean, it's a Pokemon with 3 different forms. Most of the Pokemon present on this list I have personal beef with, normally from a time that they traumatized me in competitive play. That's not really the case with Lycanroc Midnight. For this Pokemon, I'm afraid my reasoning is a little bit more petty. Lycanroc Midnight is a rock-type Pokemon that is supposed to be this cool, like, werewolf Pokemon, I think.
It is pretty
and my
cool.
actual legal government name is Wolf, and for a while there weren't really many wolf Pokemon. Like, there were a lot of dogs, but there really weren't that many wolves. So when I heard that there was going to be a wolf Pokemon in Sun and Moon, I was super hyped.
Sick.
My issue with Lycanroc Dusk is twofold. Number one, I hate the way it looks. It's like one of those Pokemon that just really
I like the way it looks.
Really irks me. It feels like a Pokemon designed to appeal to like edgy teenagers. And like, okay, listen, if you're an edgy teenager and you're watching this, I got nothing against you. But I think the things that I like in a Pokemon are probably pretty different than the ones that you like, which is fine, but this one's not for me. The other thing though is that this Pokemon just sucks. Like, it really is not very good. First of all, it looks like it should be a dark and rock type, which like, okay, is probably actually maybe even worse typing than just being a pure rock type, but at least it would fit
Lycanroc GX was so fun. I agree. I played Lycanroc Buzzwole for a little bit.
More thematically, but it's just a pure rock typing, which isn't really helping it out all that much. And its stats are bad and its abilities are weird. And like, it gets the ability No Guard, which is a really cool ability, but it doesn't really have that many good moves to use with it. And so it just kind of feels like a waste of an ability that's already pretty rare on a Pokemon that like nobody cares about. So it's not like this Pokemon ever like really wronged me, but it just really feels like such a letdown that I wanted to include it here on my list. The number 9 Pokemon is a Pokemon that was a letdown for a different reason. People are going to be upset about this one. I think that people are going to be really, really mad at this one. My number 9 most hated Pokemon is Glaceon. Don't click off the video. I have very good reason for this, okay? Back in Sword and Shield, I was like trying to figure out how to be a good Pokemon YouTuber. And so I was trying all these different things. And one of the things that I would do is I would attempt to get to number 1 on the ranked ladder, number 1 on the world on the online ladder with a specific Pokemon. The first Pokemon I ever attempted this challenge with was Leafeon, who was a Pokemon that wasn't considered to be very good at the time, but honestly Leafeon was really good. The challenge was like would say challenging, but reasonable. Like I got there in the end, and it seemed like people really loved it. So I figured after a time I would attempt it with Glaceon. This was the hardest rank 1 challenge I ever did. I think that like, I don't remember how many hours I spent trying and failing to get Glaceon to rank 1, but it was like
you guys can't
too
see,
many.
but look at him, he's in shambles.
I think there's videos that exist somewhere of like parts of it, and it's just like so brutal.
I got crit on the only eruption that they could crit me on.
Oh God!
Are you kidding me? I've been hit with like 11 Hydro Bumps and I haven't seen a single one miss. 15 to 20% remaining if my calculations are correct. Meaning all I would need to do to kill Sylveon. Why I play this stupid game? I'm about to lose to this guy and lose all of my points. What did I do to deserve this? Sun every single game.
All right, no, I get it.
Oh, so bad.
I think what frustrated me so much about Glaceon is that like it felt like I should be able to do it. Like it really seemed like it shouldn't be that difficult because like Glaceon has a lot going for it. It has a high special attack stat. It has like decent natural bulk, especially on the special side. Like its abilities are useful in the hail, but I just couldn't do it. Well, okay, spoiler alert, I eventually did do it, but like it took so much out of me and I kept getting so close and losing that it's a Pokemon that like I really developed a lot of animosity towards just because I couldn't get it there. I do think if I was attempting this challenge now in Scarlet and Violet, it'd be better because hail has been changed to snow, which is a much better weather condition for bulky ice type Pokemon. So I don't know, maybe at some point I'll attempt it and well, no, I'm not going to commit to that. I'm not doing it again.
He's just so traumatized. I get it.
This is bad enough. Anyway, I like the design of Glaceon. I like the evolutions generally, but like that specific experience was so bad that yeah, it's on my list. Coming in at number 8 is Unfezant. This is another Pokemon that I don't have that much to say about because it's never done anything to me personally. I don't know why. This is a Pokemon that I just hate for no good reason. Like there really is nothing.
I think we all have that one Pokemon. I'm looking at you, Bruxish.
Wrong with Unfezant. Like, okay, it's a normal and flying type Pokemon from Unova, and it's not very good. Like, its stats are bad, its abilities are mediocre, like, its move pool kind of sucks. But, like, there's lots of Pokemon that aren't very good. But for whatever reason, it's like my brain has zeroed in on Unfezant as the Pokemon that I'm like, why did they make this? Like, why did they create this? Like, if to me, Unfezant feels like such a waste, I think in part because there are so many normal and flying type Pokemon, and Unfezant doesn't really feel like it's adding anything unique. It feels like if you fed out like all of the normal and flying types into like an AI generator, it just would then like it'd spit one out. It would be Unfezant, except if that had happened, it might have been better. Like it just feels like a Pokemon where like creatively it doesn't speak to me, right? I'm not like, oh, they're doing something cool here. Like maybe the people who really know a lot about like Pokemon designs think that it's cool, but me who doesn't know anything, it doesn't look cool. It just looks like a pigeon, right? And competitively, it doesn't do anything. Like it's just like no one's ever tried to use it, and like there's no reason to use it. Like there's nothing unique or special, right? Even the Pokemon like PikuKen or Chatot, who are not good normal and flying type Pokemon, like they have something unique about them, right? I think they both have a signature move. And like, are they good?
Cool. I like
no.
Toucanet.
But are they usable? No. Okay, but like at least are they memorable? Yeah, right?
Yes.
Like I remembered Toucanet, and I mean, who doesn't love Chatot? Come on. But Unfezant, it's like,
yeah, I remember making my Chatot say fuck. Unfezant is so bad. Pokemon stop making early in game normals flying. Yeah, you know what? We got what, Talonflame and Corviknight. Those were fucking banger. Corviknight is so cool. I could go on forever about how I love goddamn Corviknight.
Anything good to say about it. So it's irrational. I'm sorry if you're an
Oh, okay, it is. Yeah, Toucanet's pretty cool.
Unfezant fan, but I don't like it at all. I wanted to start this
I'm gonna start calling it Unfezant, even though I know it's not correct just because of
video off with some Pokemon that I didn't have that strong feelings with. That's why I decided to make a top 10 list so we could kind of build. Every Pokemon on this list remaining is a Pokemon that I have strong feelings about. And as a spoiler alert, those feelings are going to get stronger the further up the list we get. The number 7 slot on my list goes to Kommo-o. I hate Kommo-o. Kommo-o is
it's not my favorite Pokemon, but it's kind of cool.
It's a dragon and fighting type Pokemon introduced in Sun and Moon, and it was so obnoxious to play against for many, many years. Kommo-o was given a signature Z move that was the only Z move that could hit multiple targets, and it was really strong, and it boosted all of Kommo-o's stats after doing damage. It was just this like super broken move that like I don't know how it made it past development. And so there were entire strategies built around Kommo-o that just like tried to use its Z move and then would set it up, and then like it never felt unfair unfair, like, because Como isn't that good of a Pokemon, and also its typing is really bad. Like, it's a fighting and dragon type Pokemon, and so like it's quadruple weak to fairy, and during Sun and Moon, there were so many fairy type Pokemon that were really good. And so it wasn't like a Pokemon
Tapu Lele, my beloved,
that I was like, oh, I hate this thing because it feels unfair, but it was just so obnoxious to play against. And I felt like the teams that I built were always weak to it. And let me tell you, it looks dumb. Maybe that's something that people disagree with me with, but like, I don't know. I think that the concept of like a sound making dragon is really cool, but I don't like the execution at all. And I think the baby forms are like not so memorable and not so good, especially compared to other baby
you better apologize. He's just a little boy.
Forms of other pseudo legendary Pokemon, but it was popular enough competitive that I always had to look at it. And so there was just this stupid dragon everywhere that was like doing tons of damage and boosting its stats and like, oh, it was so annoying. Anyway, I thought that I'd never have to look at Como again, but then it had a bit of a resurgence earlier in this season where it actually won a regional with a totally different set. And so then I had to look at Como some more. I will say that my feelings towards it have softened a little bit as time has gone on and we've been further and further removed from Z moves. Like, I don't feel as strongly about Como anymore as I did back during Sun and Moon, but it is a Pokemon that I really, really, really don't like. Oh yeah, since I have you here anyway, just a reminder to check and see if you're subscribed. And also please don't unsubscribe if I talked about your favorite Pokemon here. It helps the channel out a lot, and if enough people subscribe, I won't talk about your favorite Pokemon, so you better do it. Anyway, the number 6 Pokemon on our list is a Pokemon with 2 different forms. It's Lilligant. Lilligant might seem like a kind of niche Pokemon to hate because it doesn't feel like it's super popular. Like Generation 5 Pokemon in general seem like they're kind of overlooked for the most part, like especially the ones that aren't like super broken. And then like Hisuian Lilligant might not seem that impactful either, but I really don't like this Pokemon. It actually enabled one of the most, in my opinion, degenerate forms of play that we've had in, well, like maybe not ever, but it was really, really degenerate, where basically people have paired over the years since Sun and Moon came out Lilligant with Torkoal. Torkoal's ability Drought sets up the strong Sunlight, which doubles Lilligant's speed thanks to its chlorophyll ability, basically allowing it to move before all other Pokemon.
But
and then
she's
Lilligant
hot. All right, okay, listen, you think this Pokemon is hot? Okay.
Can do one of a couple different things. It can use the move After You, which is a move that not that many Pokemon learn, but can have really high impact. After You causes whatever it hits to move immediately after the user. And so basically, if Lilligant targets its own Torkoal, it allows...
I thought it looked pregnant. Okay.
Torkoal to attack as if it had Lilligant's speed stat. Torkoal hits really hard in the sun because it's a fire type. Sun powers up fire type moves, and it gets the move Eruption, which does more damage the higher Torkoal's health is, capping out at like a really high base power. And
YouTube bros, what are you?
Because Lilligant is so fast, using After You on Torkoal often means that, like, yeah, Torkoal won't have taken any damage yet, and so
it would be even better if she was pregnant. What? What? Bruh. Huh? Chat, are you okay? What the fuck? Why are we still talking about this? What the fuck? I think that's enough internet for the day. Please go touch grass.
can just do tons of damage. But if that were it, I would think that it was still fair enough that I wouldn't, you know, like really hate on Lilligant all that much. The problem is it also gets the move Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder is one of my least favorite moves ever. It is a 75% accurate move that puts the target to sleep if it hits. It is extremely degenerate. And whereas the move Spore, which is the sleep move that always hits like with 100% accuracy, is normal.
I'm not reading any of the on YouTube
given to Pokemon that they like clearly were trying to keep from getting out of hand. Sleep Powder is given to Pokemon with Chlorophyll who can move before pretty much anything else in the game. Giving a Pokemon like Hisuian Lilligant the Focus Sash means that you have to hit it twice to even get rid of it, and you're covering for After You Eruption the whole time. And Lilligant and Torkoal have really good synergy because the only Pokemon immune to Sleep Powder naturally are Pokemon that are Grass type, and Grass type Pokemon are weak to Eruption from Torkoal. Lilligant can also do a couple other annoying things, like it can lock you into moves that you use to try and play around it with the move Encore, forcing you to keep using defensive options like Protect over and over again. It's a really, really annoying Pokemon to play against. And the thing is, like, it's not a strategy that I ever want to use because it's so inconsistent. Like Sleep Powder missing a single time can often mean you just like lose a huge chunk of your Pokemon, if not the game, but it feels like whenever I play against one of these players, they hit every single one of their sleep powders, and there's just nothing I can do about it. Lilligant to me is a degenerate Pokemon, and I don't like it, and it's gambling, except that even when I don't choose to gamble, I still feel like I'm the one losing. And Lilligant is not the only Pokemon that makes me feel this way. My number 5 least favorite Pokemon is Venusaur. Listen, I love Venusaur.
I love the Bulbasaur line so much.
Venusaur as like a casual fan. Like the casual fan in me loves Venusaur. Bulbasaur is so cute. I like grew up with like, you know, the anime.
I want to protect the baby.
From Generation 1. Like, I don't know. I love Venusaur in theory. I don't love Venusaur in practice because Venusaur is similar to Lilligant in that it is a sleep powder chlorophyll user. Venusaur is a little bit different in that it doesn't get the move after you, which is great. I'm glad that it doesn't learn that move, but it is overall a better Pokemon than Lilligant. Venusaur has better stats. It has better typing.
He's so fat and cute. How can you hate him? Facts. That is fact.
And it actually is a bit more offensive. Like it's a bit scarier as a standalone Pokemon. And Venusaur got a Gigantamax form. Gigantamax Venusaur was one of my least favorite Pokemon to play against because it could choose to not Dynamax and just sleep powder your whole team. That sucked. Or it could Gigantamax and use Gmax Vine Lash, one of the strongest max moves in the game, which did a ton of damage up front and did a ton of damage over time, like an unbalanced amount of damage. Plus, it could use other strong max moves like Max Flare based off of Weather Ball, which is really strong, or Earth Power, which turned into Max Quake, which made it bulkier. Gigantamax Venusaur was a problem. The problem with Venusaur is that it's always in the game because, well, Charizard's always in the game, right? And so they're not going to put Charizard in without Venusaur. And so in all these different Pokemon games, you always have access to Venusaur, and there's always Pokemon that are powerful that set up the strong sunlight, like Groudon or Torkoal or Koraidon nowadays. And so Venusaur can always be used because it's like the main chlorophyll Pokemon. Venusaur is another one where it's like I've tried to use it a couple times and like my sleep powders always miss, but whenever I play against it, my opponent acts as if sleep powder is Spore. It is extremely frustrating. Like a theme of this list is that I hate when the game is put into chance time, but I didn't get to choose to play that game, right? It feels like like I didn't opt in to play this horrible mini game, and yet I'm still here. Playing against the sleep powder player is super volatile and hard to plan around because not only can sleep powder miss, and so you're covering for, okay, well, what if they miss? What if they target this Pokemon? What if they target this Pokemon? Like, how do I play around this? But also how long your Pokemon sleeps for is variable. If a Pokemon is put to sleep, it can wake up after 1 turn of sleep, 2 turns of sleep, or 3 turns of sleep. After 3, it's guaranteed. But competitive battles don't normally last all that long. And so having your Pokemon out of commission for 3 turns is really, really, really difficult, especially because you don't know from the get-go when it's going to wake up. It's a Pokemon that I both hate using and hate playing against. And I feel like I'm always going to have to deal with it just because Charizard's always around and Mega Evolution might come back in the future. And so, yeah, I
and it did.
Really don't like Venusaur. But I do like this week's channel partner, Holzkern. Those of you who've been watching this channel for a while,
I don't have them, but they look pretty cool.
Might recognize Holzkern because we've been working with them for well over a year now. It actually might be close to 2 years. Holzkern is an Austrian brand who make incredibly unique watches and jewelry from natural materials. Something that I absolutely love about Holzkern is that they have something for everyone, regardless of your gender or your style. I love that I can match my watches to different looks, and I've even given Holzkern watches to family and friends as birthday gifts too. Even my editor has one. I've also really been enjoying Holzkern's jewelry. I'm not super into jewelry generally, but Holzkern actually sent me a couple pieces to try out, and I've been enjoying wearing them a lot more than I would have expected. Personally, I absolutely love wearing watches. I like that they're both functional, but also like a fashion statement, and they can make an outfit feel more classy and put together. It's like a little cheat code. And also I like knowing the time, but I don't always want to look at my phone, so they're the perfect, you know, solution to this problem. And actually, this is not like sponsor speak. This is real. I've worn a Holzkern watch almost every day for the last 2 years, I think, like definitely over a year at this point. If you ever see me wearing a watch at a tournament, the brand is Holzkern. They're all Holzkern watches. I feel like all my watches are Holzkern at this point. This one in particular has been my everyday watch for over a year now, and I absolutely adore it. The wood in Holzkern watches is made from FSC certified wood, meaning it was produced without harming the environment, something that is personally very important to me. Holzkern's products are made in small quantities, meaning they're always really high quality and last a long time, really adding to that feeling of a premium accessory that elevates an outfit.
Do you like jewelry on guys? I do. I think it's attractive.
I went to a friend's wedding and I wore this watch. Not only did it make me feel like a very handsome young man, but I got a ton of compliments on it as well. I actually just got a couple more Holzkern watches, which I'm excited to experiment with and try out. My collection is really, really growing. And you too can get a ton of compliments on your Holzkern products by clicking the link in the description and using code WOLFIE10 for a whopping 10% off your order. Now that's a deal that I could never hate. So now we're up to the top 4.
10% off pretty good.
And the number 4 slot in our list is going to confuse a lot of people. The Pokemon I gave the honor of being my 4th most hated Pokemon ever is Incineroar. You thought it was
I always forget he actually doesn't like Incineroar.
Going to be number 1. I know you thought it was going to be number 1, but nope, it's all the way down here at number 4. Surprise. Why?
What does he hate more than Incineroar?
Is Incineroar not higher? I feel like the fact that I hate Incineroar is kind of like a meme on this channel at this point, right? Well, there's a couple things that go into it. The answer is that it is incredibly poorly designed, in my opinion, from a game balance perspective. Incineroar is the best supporting Pokemon we've ever had. It might be the single best Pokemon we've ever had. I made a full video just talking about Incineroar if you're interested in kind of the long version. But the short version is that it has everything. One of the best type combinations in the game, one of the single best abilities in competitive play, a stupid move pool, both allowing it to hit hard even though it's designed to be a support Pokemon, as well as having some of the best support moves in the game with Fake Out and Parting Shot. It gets buffed every generation despite the fact that like it is so dominant. There have been times where
Game Freak loves the damn cat.
Incineroar has been used on like 75% of teams of the World Championships, which should never be happening. Like that's too high for any Pokemon to get, in my opinion, and certainly a Pokemon that gets that high, you should not be buffing a Pokemon that's that good. I also don't like Incineroar because when I first saw Litten, I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Like another cat Pokemon as a starter. That's great. I love.
And then it gets on 2 legs.
Cats and turns into like a tiger wrestler guy. Like I don't know. I don't like it at all. But why is Incineroar not higher? That's a great question. I mean, you all know that I don't like it. The thing about Incineroar is that while it's not necessarily fair or balanced, it's also not degenerate in the way that a lot of the Pokemon above it, in my opinion, are. Like Incineroar doesn't necessarily introduce variance, even in the same way that Sleep Powder does, where like I don't want to use the word fair because it's not a fair Pokemon, but it's an honest Pokemon, right? Like, you know what it does. There's not a lot of variance. It's like this ultimate glue Pokemon that kind of holds everything together, and it holds everything together a bit too well, to be clear, but the way in which it holds everything together is like, I would say overall healthy, even if the Pokemon itself isn't. Like imagine the best Pokemon in the game were like Dark Void, right? Or like a Dark Void Darkrai, right? With like 80% accuracy, so you were always just messing with sleep turns. That would be really bad, I think, for the health of the competitive game. Incineroar is definitely too strong, but it's not too strong in a way that makes the game like really volatile or really just like coin flippy. It just kind of smooths out a lot of the edges. Incineroar does also decrease Pokemon diversity. It's kind of like a bar that you have to clear in order to play
every team is gonna have the goddamn cat.
The game. Not that every Pokemon has to match up well into Incineroar, but a Pokemon that gets completely shut down by it, which is a lot of Pokemon, definitely have a hard time playing. So I don't know. I think also the thing about Incineroar is that at this point I've won every single level of tournament with it, with the exception of the World Championships. It has won me quite a lot of events, and so I think that maybe, I don't want to make any promises, but maybe my feelings on Incineroar might be changing a little bit. Okay, before we get to the top 3, I want to talk about some honorable mentions or Pokemon that I don't like, but I don't dislike them enough to put them on this list. First up is Rellor. One time I saw a zoomed in picture of this Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I'm good. This one's understandable. This goddamn Pokemon is really ugly.
And like I didn't have any issue with it before, but then I saw its stupid little face and I decided that I hated it. Wugtrio, that's another new Pokemon. Wugtrio makes me mad because it's kind of like Unfezant, where they designed a Pokemon that has no chance of ever being good in any context, I think. That being said, Wugtrio is not on the list and Unfezant is, because Wugtrio is really funny, like design wise. I love Wugtrio, but I think that also makes me mad because like it'd be so funny if you could actually use Wugtrio in competitive play, but nobody will because it's just so terrible. Monkey Dory, I don't know why I hate this Pokemon.
This Pokemon is broken in the TCG, by the way.
So much, and like maybe my feelings will soften. This thing didn't do anything to me. I just think
oh my god, I didn't realize how large he is. I didn't play the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I thought he was a little guy. Why is he so fucking massive?
I don't know. I just hate the way it looks. I really don't like it. Bruxish is just like
valid.
Really ugly, and like
all that needs to be said.
If you're ugly, right? But like for some reason Bruxish really irks me. Also, Bruxish has like one of the best abilities in the game. It's called Dazzling. It's the same ability as Serena's Queenly Majesty and Triggeraf's Armor Tail, both of which are really good Pokemon. But the fact that like Bruxish, who also gets this ability, is so bad makes me mad, because the ability is so good, but the base Pokemon is just awful. And then the monkeys from Unova, Simisear, Simipour.
Never stop catching strays.
Or Simisage, or yeah, Pansear, Panpour, Pansage. I don't know why I don't like these guys, but like I think the fact that they're just so generic and also so bad, like either one would have been fine. If they were just generic or just bad, I would have been okay. But like I don't know, like these 3 really missed the mark for me. I think part of the issue is that like in Black and White, you're given one of these monkeys for free depending on like what your starter Pokemon is. And so when I was younger and I played Black and White for the first time, I was super excited because I was like, oh wow, free Pokemon must be good, right? That was just like the monkey, and it didn't look cool, and it wasn't very good, and and yeah, so I don't like the monkey. Anyway, I don't feel that strongly about any of those Pokemon. Certainly not as strongly as I feel about our top 3. Ordering these Pokemon is really difficult, to be honest, because I have such strong feelings about all of them. But in the end, I settled on my 3rd most hated Pokemon as Thundurus. Specifically Thundurus Incarnate. I don't have any real feelings about Thundurus Therian. Thundurus Incarnate is probably the most nerfed Pokemon in all of competitive Pokemon's history. In fact, like, I don't even know who the 2nd most nerfed Pokemon is because Thundurus was so heavily nerfed. The thing about Thundurus is that when you want to talk about degenerate strategies, Thundurus has got to be close to the king, if not the king himself. Thundurus was clearly designed to be this offensive Pokemon. Like, it was really fast and really strong with pretty mediocre defenses. But the problem was that it got the ability Prankster, which gives all of its non-damaging moves a stage of priority, and it had a lot of really annoying non-damaging moves. Thunderwave would just paralyze whatever it would hit, and Swagger would confuse a Pokemon and give it 2 stages of increased attack. So it was often used in combination with Thunderwave to stop a Pokemon from moving, hopefully a special attacker, but players would launch it at physical attackers as well. But the problem with Thundurus is that because it had Prankster, its moves were always going first, and so there was no way to deny it from clicking one of these moves, and both these moves could just stop you from moving indefinitely. One of the main skills back in like the black and white
that sounds like so much fun
X and Y era was just to like use Thundurus to paralyze everything. Like, Paralysis was designed with like the intention, I think, of lowering the speed, like as being a speed control tool, and then it has this secondary effect that can also stop the Pokemon from moving. But in competitive play in those years, it was normally the opposite, where like you would paralyze a Pokemon just so that it would like have a chance to not move. And the fact that it lowered their speed as well was like just a nice bonus. If you think about it this way, the move Fake Out is often used to stop a Pokemon from moving for a single turn, and then the move like doesn't have value after that. But if you hit a Pokemon with Thunder Wave, then every single turn it had a chance of not moving. You could Thunder Wave a Pokemon and then stop it from moving for the next 3 or 4 turns, which is like completely broken. And back in the day, the only type that you couldn't paralyze was ground. Nowadays, as part of Thundurus's nerfs, electric type Pokemon can't be paralyzed, and dark type Pokemon are immune to Prankster, meaning the number of targets that Thundurus can hit is way lower. Back in the day, that wasn't true.
This poor guy. I mean, maybe not poor, all right? I'm sure a lot of people were very frustrated playing against this motherfucker, but still, man, that sucks.
Thunder Wave everything. You couldn't even stop Thundurus with the move Taunt, which, you know, would stop it from using non-damaging moves, because it would often run Taunt itself to taunt your taunt. And so these defensive Thunduruses would often end up in kind of this prisoner's dilemma where like
Prankster Pokemon are broken. Prankster Pokemon are fun.
But then they also wanted to run some speed so that they could taunt the other Thundurus before they got taunted back. Thundurus was just ridiculous. Like, it was so incredibly strong. And I might have already mentioned this, but because of Thundurus's Prankster ability, there was no way to stop it from Thunder Waving things in the first place. Like, normally for a support Pokemon, you can at least try to, like, I don't know, go after it right away and get rid of it. But with Thundurus having Prankster, that like really wasn't an option. And so you were always basically forced to let it paralyze at least one of your Pokemon. And that meant you were always gambling on when that hand was going to come due. Thundurus was responsible for a lot of nerfs in competitive play. The Prankster ability was nerfed to no longer work on dark types. Electric types became immune to paralysis altogether. Swagger's accuracy was lowered from 90 to 85.
Damn,
Confusion's chance of activating was lowered from 50% to 33%.
They really hated this
was
guy.
reduced from 100% accuracy to 90% accuracy. Paralysis' speed cut effect was reduced from dropping a Pokemon to a quarter of its initial speed to only a half, which is a pretty major difference. And there might have even been a couple other things that I'm forgetting about as well. Thundurus hasn't been that good for a while, at least not as a Prankster support Pokemon, but it was so annoying to play against for so many years that I still have animosity towards it all these years later. But not as much animosity as I feel towards the number 2 Pokemon on my list, Smeargle. I hate Smeargle. I hate Smeargle so much. It might seem strange that I would hate a Pokemon like Smeargle so much, because if you look at its stats and its typing, it certainly doesn't stand out as being especially good. But don't let that fool you. Smeargle has done things that I can't even speak of on this channel. The thing about Smeargle is that it learns every single move in the game, including signature moves from other Pokemon. That's a big deal because a lot of signature moves are designed kind of just with the original user in mind, and not necessarily with Smeargle in mind. Smeargle was most toxic back when it could learn the move Dark Void. Dark Void being, at the time, an 80% accurate move that hit both targets and put both Pokemon to sleep if it hit.
Knowing me, it would have never hit.
Each of them. We've talked about how broken Sleep Powder was, and this was basically a better version of Sleep Powder on both targets that you couldn't become immune to by being a grass type. And because Smeargle could learn every move in the game, it was extremely difficult to pin down. It could use Fake Out, it could use Follow Me, it could use Wide Guard, it could use the move Crafty Shield, which was Klefki's signature move. It could use Transform. It was so annoying to deal with. Basically, Smeargle could always support its partner with a supporting move, or it could just go for Dark Void, and you never knew what it was going to go for. One of the scariest leads was Smeargle and Mega Kangaskhan, where both Pokemon could in theory fake you out. And and let the other one set up where, you know, Mega Kangaskhan could use Fake Out and Smeargle could use Dark Void or Tailwind or something else. Or Smeargle could use Fake Out, Mega Kangaskhan could use Power Up Punch. Smeargle would almost always hold the Focus Sash, so you had to hit it multiple times to get rid of it. And its ability Moody gave it a random stat boost by 2 stages at the end of every single turn. That meant that if you tried to play defensive in front of Kangaskhan Smeargle, protecting both your Pokemon, Smeargle could just get a random +2 speed boost and suddenly outspeed your whole team. Back in the day, it could also get boost to its evasion and accuracy, where it could suddenly make Dark Void extremely, like 100% accurate, or it could make itself even harder to hit. Throughout Generation 6, Smeargle was a total menace, and in the final year of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, became one of the most dominant Pokemon in the game. And so it was nerfed going into Sun and Moon, where it can no longer learn Dark Void, and for good measure, they nerfed Dark Void from being 80% accurate on both Pokemon to only 50%, which is like a really massive nerf. It makes me feel kind of bad for Darkrai. But also, Moody was changed to no longer work with accuracy and evasion stats. And I thought that was going to be the end of Smeargle, but it wasn't. It turns out when you can use every single move in the game, you can have a Pokemon that is really annoying. Smeargle was once again a support Pokemon, and although it wasn't able to use Dark Void and it wasn't able to get, you know, evasion boosts from Moody, it was still really, really annoying. People were running Spore on Smeargle to still kind of get that, you know, put the target to sleep effect, make it so you couldn't ignore Smeargle completely. But then players started running Grass type Pokemon and the Safety Goggles item to protect against Spore. So Smeargle started running the move Lovely Kiss, which is basically just an inaccurate sleep move that works on grass types. Every single time I think Smeargle's done for and like isn't going to be an issue, it comes back. Most recently, Smeargle's popped up on teams that are fully built around Trick Room. It uses the move Fake Out and Follow Me to help you get Trick Room set up. It can use Spore to put opponents to sleep, and then it can use the move Decorate to double one of its own partner's offensive stats. That's Alchemy's signature move, by the way. It feels like no matter how far I run, no matter how much the game changes, Smeargle remains, and Smeargle is still there to terrorize me. I feel like I've kind of just accepted that I'm never going to get away from Smeargle. All I can hope is that they never give it an evolution, which only leaves my single most hated Pokemon of all time. And as a spoiler, it's a Pokemon that hasn't been used pretty much since the end of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. When I was making this list, that's how I knew that this was the Pokemon that deserved the #1 slot, because even though I haven't seen it for like 5 years, I still feel just as strongly towards it as I did the last time I lost to it. It's a legendary Pokemon from Generation 6, Xerneas. Xerneas is, in my opinion, one of the most unfair.
Oh, I like the damn, what is it? It's not a moose. Whatever that is.
Pokemon ever designed. A lot of Pokemon on this list are here because they're degenerate in some way, right? Like they introduced a lot of variants.
I get it. Really Xerneas is really good. Deer. Yeah. I don't know why I said moose.
Based, and they're overall not very fun to play against. Xerneas is not fun to play against, but not because it's doing anything crazy, just because, you know, it can double 3 of its most important stats in a single move. Xerneas is a pure fairy type Pokemon, arguably the best type in the game, with an ability that powers up all its fairy type moves. Fairy type moves are also some of the best in the game, with Moonblast doing tons of single target damage and Dazzling Gleam being a consistent option that hits both opponents. The real issue with Xerneas though is its ability Geomancy, which, as I said, doubles its speed, special attack, and special defense in a single turn. Well, okay, it's not supposed to work that way. It's supposed to take 2 turns, except if you give Xerneas the item Power Herb, an item that makes 2-turn moves activate in a single turn, it gets the benefits right away. Xerneas might be the single most broken Pokemon of all time. It's a Pokemon that I can't even fathom how it was allowed to be pushed into the games. Maybe they
I don't think they thought about it that hard, if I'm being honest.
Thought that they could stop Xerneas by not giving it very many coverage moves, but again, because it's doubling its offensive stat and it gets a power boost just by, you know, having an ability that powers up all fairy type moves, and it's good natural stats and it's great moves, like it doesn't need other moves. Fairy type moves are enough because that's enough to just KO everything. Xerneas was a Pokemon that you could build your entire team to try and stop, and you would still end up losing to it. It's a Pokemon that basically single-handedly introduced.
When was the last time Xerneas was used in a competitive team?
All these kind of like niche anti-setup moves like Haze and Roar and the item Red Card and Whirlwind and a couple other things as well, just to try and stop Xerneas.
Sword and Shield.
And most of the time it didn't even work. And of course, if Xerneas was just existing in a vacuum, like if it was, you know, one-on-one and you just had to beat the Xerneas, this was like a boss battle in, you know, the single player mode, then yeah, it would be reasonable, right? There are Pokemon that Xerneas can't KO even after setting up. But in a double battle, Xerneas was always coming with support, like Smeargle, Mega Kangaskhan. Primal Groudon was the worst, where if you paired Primal Groudon with Xerneas, the only Pokemon in the game that could resist its fairy type moves were Fire, Steel, and Poison type Pokemon, all of which are weak to Primal Groudon's ground type attacks. It's perfect offensive coverage.
Awesome.
And the worst part about Xerneas for me is that it's a Pokemon that, despite being super broken, like it never clicked for me. I was never able to use it. And it wasn't like, oh, I just like missed my sleep powders. Like there was no difference between me and the other players using Xerneas, at least none that were obvious. It wasn't like, oh, like, you know, I just didn't, you know, hit my moves because all the moves worked 100% of the time. That wasn't the issue. It's just that I was bad with Xerneas. So I was always having to deal with this Pokemon and I could never actually use it myself. It was awful. I hate this Pokemon so much. And every time they introduce a new generation's mechanic like Dynamax or Z moves or Terastallization, the very first thing I think is Xerneas going to be in this game? And if it is, how bad is it going to be for me? I'm very grateful that Xerneas was not put into
I love how he's just scared.
Scarlet and Violet, because a Xerneas that can change its type and use Terra Blast to get different move coverage sounds really, truly close to my worst nightmare. Anyway, those are the 10 Pokemon I hate the most. If your favorite was on this list, I'm sorry. I hope some of these Pokemon
I think the
are
one I'm
surprised.
hurt by the most is definitely Venusaur.
This to you, I hope some weren't. And if you like this video, maybe you should watch a video where I talk more about Pokemon that I like instead. I made a video talking about every Pokemon I've won a tournament with, so if you want to watch that, I'd recommend giving it a shot.
Yippee, but also, wow. Let me see what other people have to say. Wolfie and Incineroar are not rivals. Wolfie's just one big tsundere who denies his love for Incineroar. I like for how most of the list, the question is, why do I hate this Pokemon? But for Incineroar, it's, why don't I hate this Pokemon more? That's real. I feel like he can't 100% hate Incineroar, all right? I don't think there's a universe where he 100% hates him. Also, chat, I need to pee. You guys know what time it is. You guys know what time it is. Also, Nyx, thank you so much for the follow. I got to go to the bathroom. I will be right back. We'll watch one more video after this, and then we'll call it for today. But I will be right back, all right? You guys miss me? Did you guys miss me? Do you guys think I'm cool? You guys missed me, right? Clearly you did if you're still here. I did go Poseidon. I did go Poseidon. Why am I hearing myself? Hold up. There we go. Also loud in my ears. Well, welcome to Poseidon stream. I'm just loud. Smiles. I am just loud. Yes, yes, yes. Anyways, we got one more video to watch. One more to wrap up today's stream. We got, why don't the Elite Four do anything? But this is Chris. I don't know, man. Some of the Elite Four, I'm just like, So we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch Why Don't the Elite Four Do Anything by This Is Chris.
The Elite Four, some of the most powerful and highly
biggest, baddest trainers in the region.
acclaimed trainers in any Pokemon region. Pretty much every region that has these four holds them in high regard. But like, what do they actually do? Like, when their region is in danger, why is it always just the champion or just the gym leaders that step in? The region is burning, the universe is about to be destroyed, there are literal aliens invading from other dimensions, and these bozos are just sitting there while a couple
bozos are just sitting there.
Of 10-year-olds and maybe a 30-year-old handle everything? Why is it like this? Why are they always absent and almost never seem to step up? That's what I want to figure out today, and I think the best way to do that is to talk about the Elite Four in each different region before coming to a conclusion, as each region has its own unique circumstances
Looker's just hiding.
potential reasons for
the Elite Four in Kanto were straight up villains. You know, I haven't read enough of the Pokemon manga to know that, and I think I kind of want to look into that because that's crazy.
I'm not intervening.
Elite Four, like, you VTubers useless? That's a little rude. I would like to think I'm not useless.
Let's start with the Kanto region. Kanto...
Yeah, Elite Four sucks at being authorities. I mean, look, they freaking employed a 5-year-old. Well, maybe Poppy's not 5, but still a child. Elite Four are crazy in Gen 9.
It's probably one of the few regions that doesn't really need the Elite Four to intervene. The only major evil organization is Team Rocket, but they're more of a gang or a mafia than a terrorist organization like most regions have. As such, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for the Elite Four to get involved with such petty crime, especially since Kanto does have police in some capacity. Them getting involved would be like the US government getting involved with the mafia. Oh wait, yet despite the nature of Team Rocket, Kanto is actually one of the few regions where an Elite Four member does get involved, as Lorelei helps out with poachers on 4 Island. Granted, 4 Island is where her house and family are, and she didn't exactly help out at any other point in the games, so I wonder if she actually cares about stopping Team Rocket, or if she only cared in this instance because it was an inconvenience to her. Regardless, she did intervene, so that has to at least count for something, right? I think it's also worth noting that Kanto didn't have a champion
like 9. I think she's older than 9
when the games were taking place, so there's a legitimate reason that the champion did not intervene either, since they literally just didn't exist. The champion does get involved in Johto though, as Lance makes an appearance to stop Team Rocket from forcing evolutions in the Lake of Rage, and his help is very much appreciated, but regular Elite Four members, nope. None.
Well, you did
nowhere to
nothing.
be seen. Johto is in a bit of a weird place though, considering it does share a Pokemon League with the Kanto region. I could totally see their reason for not intervening being some weird jurisdiction complications. Like, they might represent Johto in a way, but some of them probably
just casually killing a Team Rocket member
from the Johto region, right? I mean, Koga obviously isn't, since he was a Kanto gym leader. So there's a good chance a couple others aren't from Johto either, and therefore don't have the same liberties they might in Kanto. I kind of think this is corroborated by Lorelei's intervention on 4 Island actually. As an Elite Four member whose primary residence is 4 Island, she probably had a bit more leeway with the authorities over that area than most. Regardless, I don't think it's a huge deal that the Elite Four are absent from the region, considering the relatively low danger provided by the deteriorating Team Rocket. I think the next 4 regions are the most egregious when it comes to the Elite Elite Four being lazy.
Absolutely.
Let's set the scene for a second. The Hoenn region is facing a once-in-a-millennia disaster where one, if not two,
the world is either gonna drown or explode. What do?
Of the most destructive legendary Pokemon have been woken from their slumber by an eco-terrorist organization. How many Elite Four members tried to help?
None.
Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Do all 4 try to contribute? No. It's 0. All 4 of these losers do diddly squat while this region is being ravaged by natural disasters. It's wild, especially since half of them have teams that would work pretty well against Groudon and Kyogre. Drake's Dragon-type team almost entirely resists Water-type moves, and a lot of them have Levitate or are part flying as well, meaning many of them resist Kyogre's primary attacking type.
Why are we sorry, SIMPING? I cannot watch a Pokemon video without YouTube chat getting freaky!
And are immune to Groudons. He's literally such a good counter to both the legendary Pokemon that are fighting. Glacia isn't a bad option either. Ice is super effective against ground, and more than half her team is water type too, so she should be able to resist Kyogre a decent bit as well. Sydney,
but guess what? She isn't.
and Phoebe, whatever. I'm sure they could
okay, I like Phoebe.
Contribute in some way, but they're not nearly as important as the first two. But
useless motherfucker.
Instead of Drake or Glacia helping, we get either Wallace or Steven. Wallace makes sense as he is a water type trainer, meaning he would basically have these same advantages as Glacia. Then there's Steven, who uses primarily rock and steel type Pokemon, neither of which do particularly well into Kyogre or Groudon, especially Groudon. Now look, I love Steven. He's one of my favorite twinks in the Pokemon franchise.
Okay, the twink part. Wait, do you guys think Steven Stone is a twink? Is he considered a twink? Really? I don't? I mean, I can kind of see it. That's so funny. My favorite twink.
But this dude does not match up well into these legendaries. And yet, he's out there defending his region while the Elite Four are sitting like, I don't know, a mile away, max. It's crazy to me that he wouldn't at least ask for help from the people literally one room away from him for this crisis. I truly cannot figure out any reason for the Elite Four to stay out of the emergency in Hoenn. At least in Sinnoh, there is a bit of a reason. Not a great reason, but a reason nonetheless. That being the international police, who are very involved in trying to stop Team Galactic. Looker makes periodic appearances throughout the Sinnoh games, including the Platinum Post game. Granted, he and his
He was peepo shy. Listen. Are you allowed to be peepo shy when the world's gonna explode?
Workers were not the most effective at stopping Team Galactic, all things considered, but at least there was a law enforcement agency involved. And also Cynthia. Honestly, with Cynthia there, I can kind of understand why the others stayed out of the way.
Okay,
like, if Cynthia isn't enough to beat Team Galactic, what are the rest of these bozos gonna do? No offense to the rest of the Sinnoh Elite Four, but she's kind of stronger than all of them combined. If she can't do
that is fair. They do not hold a single candle to freaking Cynthia. That girl gave everyone PTSD.
No one in the Pokemon League stands a chance. That being said, Sinnoh is one of the few regions where we do see an Elite Four member outside of their jail cell-like chamber, which is an incredibly low bar, but one that is apparently hard to clear. It's Flint, as he is seen in and around Sunnyshore's City and in the fight arena in the post-game. In both cases, he's just kind of hanging around his depressed friend trying to cheer him up. And that's kind of it. Don't get me wrong, helping out your friends is important, but like, you couldn't have helped out anywhere else. You only want to help your friend. The rest of the region means nothing to you. That whole crisis on top of the mountain you just didn't care about. Well, I guess if I was a fire type trainer in Sinnoh, I might not care too much about.
Yeah, especially if most of the region's water. I kind of get it.
The region either, but still, these 4 definitely could have and should have stepped up a bit more. And as bad as Sinnoh and Hoenn are, the next 2 regions are somehow even worse. But before we get into them, please consider subscribing. Subscribing is one of the best ways to support this channel and stay up to date on videos. Right now, over 95% of my audience is not subscribed, which is kind of crazy. So if you're enjoying this video, double check to make sure you are subscribed, because there's a good chance you think you are, but you're actually not. Also, I just started a Patreon for this channel as well, with tons of bonus content. So if you're interested in something like that and want to support the channel more directly, there is a link to that in the description down below as well. Let's start with Unova. If you've ever only played Black and White 2, you might be thinking, what? How is the Elite Four here worse than it is in Hoenn or Sinnoh? The threat is—
I mean, Caitlyn didn't do anything. I forgot. The dark guy, the ghost girl. Yeah.
is way lower than it is in those games.
Caitlyn was just eeping the whole time, fucking honk shwooing.
And to be fair, you're kind of right. In both the original games and the sequels, the stakes are way lower than they are in the Gen 3 or 4 games. However, the climax of the original Black and White games is basically Team Plasma trying to take over the location of the Pokemon League, as they try laying siege to it in a bid to try and take over the entire region. And who is it that steps up to defend the Pokemon League? It's the gym leaders. They come from
the
all
lower ranked trainers. And honestly, this moment was fucking fire, okay? This was so cool. I wish we got more moments like this.
Across the region to try and prevent Team Plasma from succeeding in their plan. And the Elite Four do nothing, as there is a huge threat literally right outside their door. The strongest trainers in the region are just waiting inside while everyone else is outside fighting for them. In Sinnoh or Hoenn, I could potentially see the locations of their respective disasters posing an issue in terms of intervention. Maybe they couldn't get to the top of Spear Pillar in time since it's not a flyable location. Maybe the inclement weather conditions made it hard to access Sootopolis City, although I don't know if I'd believe that one since Drake has a Salamence. But the Unova Elite Four has no excuse to stay out of the conflict when the conflict is literally in their front yards.
I don't know, Caitlyn was just honk shwooing.
The fate of the region is at stake, and they sit inside twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah, I heard the Gen 5 manga is really good. I need to go around to reading that.
Losing to N. It's wild. How is every gym leader from across the region gonna show up, but not a single Elite Four member will take a single step outside? Are their rooms completely soundproof? Do they just not know? Are there no attendants that can notify them of this impending disaster as they battle? And then there's Kalos. Kalos might just be the worst case out of all of them. Team
they really did not give a fuck.
Flare alone is a huge threat to the region. They basically want to destroy it because it's not pretty enough, which is insane, and they were also somehow almost capable enough to do it, as they would have used the ultimate weapon if not for the protagonist character. That alone is more than enough of a reason for officials to get involved, in my opinion. Like, if there's some dude who wants to
genocide.
Use the ultimate weapon to destroy the entirety of France, how about the region employs more than a small group of 10-year-olds to get rid of them? Yeah? It's crazy too, because Team Flare is such a joke of an evil team. Compared to pretty much all their predecessors, these guys are just so easy, and that's even with Mega Evolution. But their non-intervention isn't the only reason the Kalos Elite Four are the worst. They also somehow let a Team Flare admin into their ranks. Malva is literally a member of the organization trying to destroy the region, and
is there no background checks? What is the hiring process for hiring Elite Four members? Do background checks just not exist in Pokemon? Hello?
Of the Elite Four, and the rest of them either don't know, which just exemplifies.
To be fair, Kalos Elite Four probably also hates France.
Their incompetence, or they do know but don't care, which might be even worse.
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
definitely
assume
worse.
that the rest of the Elite Four doesn't know about Malva's identity, because the idea that they do and don't care is just so much worse. It would mean they just don't care about so much of the culture they're supposed to exemplify, and the rest knowing Malva's identity would compromise the entire Kalos Pokemon League, if not the entire idea of the Pokemon League as a whole. Although, if every Pokemon League is is paid off by their evil teams, I guess that would explain why so few seem to intervene. I'll come back to that thought later. From here on out though, I think each Elite Four has a pretty good reason for not intervening in the main story. Take Alola for example. It's hard to point fingers at the Elite Four for not doing anything since the Elite Four is literally brand new in the first games. Like, it was set up shortly before we arrived to challenge it, and that's part of why there isn't a champion until there's us. What's kind of crazy though is even with this newness, the Alola Elite Four are still some of the most active we see in any Pokemon game. This is because two of the Elite Four members are also island kahunas, Hala and Olivia, who not only play a major part in the main story, but also step up to protect Alola from the Ultra Beasts in the Ultra games. Even if this is only half the Elite Four, that's still 50% more contribution than pretty much every other region. And that's from a Pokemon League in its infancy. Honestly, if Alola can do it, I see no reason that other
Olivia
more
is
established regions cannot do it as well. I guess it just goes to show that a higher degree of care for one's region makes them more willing to step up to protect it, which just makes Unova's Elite Four even weirder. Next is Galar, which is another pretty unique region. As far as I can tell, it's the only region that doesn't technically have a set Elite Four. Instead, it's basically a tournament with the final match being against the champion. This format is pretty cool, and I think this style of important battles is one of the best part of the Galar games. It also gives the region a great excuse for why the Elite Four didn't get evolved in the story. They literally don't exist. That being said, this is one of the regions where the champion, Leon, is highly involved, as he makes several story appearances and also tries to save the world, even if he does end up failing. And finally, we arrive at Paldea. In Paldea, the Elite Four members are at least out and about. In fact, they seem to be very involved.
They're not like cooped up in a room. Vinny, thank you so much for the follow.
With the going-ons around the region, with Larry having at least one other job as a gym leader, Hassel working as a teacher at the academy, Rika appearing a few times throughout the story as Gita's personal assistant, and Poppy just kind of following Rika.
Yeah, I don't know how they employed Poppy. That one I don't understand. How did we determine that this child was an Elite Four qualified member? There's no fucking way.
Around. But she's literally a child, so it's not like I can fault her for acting like a child. I'm curious.
Yeah, there's no defending Gita, all right? I have not met a singular person who's like, Gita's my favorite champion. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
As if Paldea is sort of a model for how the Pokemon League is.
There wasn't like a supreme world threat in Paldea. It was more so like the Area Zero stuff with the AI professor.
Supposed to work. Having each Elite Four member be a functioning member of society makes far more sense than having them just sit in a room all day, every day. I want to believe this Elite...
Larry is just a working guy. He's just an office man with a side hustle of being a gym leader in an Elite Four.
Would intervene if catastrophe struck Paldea. But since the biggest threat...
Have you guys seen Rika in the anime? I've seen a few clips and I'm like, damn. I love that they got Erika Ishii to voice Rika. That is perfect voice casting, if you ask me.
We see are spontaneous and take place like a mile underground. I understand why they weren't involved in those parts of the story. There's also the Blueberry Academy Elite Four, which is just kind of weird. I don't think I can give these guys a hard time either, since once again, there's not really a huge evil team running around the academy or anything. Oh, and they're also literally children. Although, ironically enough, if there was an evil team, I do kind of feel like these guys would stand their ground in a lot of cases. I think the simplest explanation for why the Elite Four seems to intervene so infrequently is they probably have to be asked to intervene. Despite being some of the strongest trainers in each region, I highly doubt the Elite Four has law enforcement capabilities, as giving such capabilities to anyone who became an Elite Four member could lead to corruption and destabilization within a region. Take a look at Kalos. Could you imagine if Malva had the ability to make law decisions while also being a member of Team Flare? Giving Elite Four members the ability to conduct investigations and basically be vigilantes would only end poorly. If I had to guess, I would say Elite Four members and champions can probably be hired by regional governments and then be given special privileges in times of extreme need. This would explain why champions are often seen helping out with problems within a region, although I suspect the cost of hiring a champion would be quite high, unless they're willing to work pro bono. But considering this is all...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the champions that are in these games, I feel like they care enough about the region and are so proud to be like a champion of that region that maybe they wouldn't ask for more.
All just theoretical? I'm not sure how likely that is either. At the end of the day, if a 12-year-old can figure out how to avert some kind of disaster, do we really need all of the Elite Four members to intervene? Anyway, let me know in the comments down below why you think the Elite Four don't do anything. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you made it to the end, be sure to subscribe and maybe check out the Patreon as well. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you again next weekend for yet another video. Be sure to do something nice for yourself this week. See ya.
Aw, thanks. Man, there is no explaining as to why Poppy's an Elite Four member, but you know what? Okay, maybe her mom paid a lot of money for her to be there, as far as I know. As far as I know. Seems nice. So one of the Elite Four members says Alder ordered them to stay neutral, so that's at least one Elite Four explained. Oh, really? Okay. Mom was not just a team flemmer, she's also the newscaster. So you can argue that she manipulated information that reached the league. Oh, he's one of my favorite twinks. Fuck, come on. Great way to describe Steven Stone. Shout out to Steven Stone, my goat. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up stream. That is not gonna be the last you guys see of me today. I will be on, what do you call it? Miss Lala's stream later, so we can yap about cards, and I will be watching her open cards, because I just love watching people unbox stuff. So, anyways, if you haven't done so yet, go join my Discord server, go buy my merch. Follow me on all my socials, Poseidon Mythos, Poseidon Mythos _ on TikTok. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. The next stream you guys will probably see me on is gonna be Monday, and we're gonna be tag locking. So I'll be working on we'll be doing a tag lock, Slimbo's tag lock. So the file got passed to me, so I will be handling the Pokemon Black file that a bunch of VTubers worked on, and hopefully I don't fuck it up. Fingers crossed. Anyways, I will see you guys all very soon. Hopefully on Miss Lala's stream. And yeah, anyway, we're throwing for content, right? No comment. No comment! I was glad to stop by and say hi. Yes! Oh, sorry, Rapunzel, I'm free now. Just message me. Anyways, bye everyone. Sayonara!